Good.
Okay,
So
we're
who's
recording.
starting? We're recording. Good evening. This is Pat Moore, Chair of the Quality of Life Committee. And it is Wednesday, what is it, May
21st.
Totally off, totally off.
Yeah.
So we're gonna start with all the DDC projects that we have taken place in Lower Manhattan. We're gonna hear about progress and any projects that are about to be started and any projects that are about to be completed, which will make us happy. Okay, Ms. Mitch. So who's starting?
You have the slides, so.
Good afternoon. This is Marlene from GDC. We just sent over, a PowerPoint presentation to Zach. Is it possible to share that, please?
Yeah, give me 1 second while I pull it up. Where's Francis?
She was,
Find the back.
she's here. I mean, she's in the, but I don't know.
I have a major question. Is Rector Street a DDC project? Major,
Rector
major
Street?
question.
Not
Yeah,
that
while
I'm
we're
aware
pulling
of.
up, the presentation, what is going on with Rector between Trinity and Broadway?
I'm sorry. So Rector Street
That's
is,
big. This is not
it's-
Rector's
sorry, it's part of Trinity Place. The Omar will be able to speak on that. Amanda is here as well. So it is in the presentation.
All right, so then I'll wait then. I'll wait. Hello, hello.
Okay.
So sign in, please.
Who's running?
Who's starting?
You can move through the slides. The RE will speak on the appropriate project as it moves along. Thank you.
Who's the first program? So is that?
The agenda
Hello,
says-
this is Bashar from DDC. For the first project, we have Bishoy.
That's right.
Oh, on our list, it's busy, so it's South Street.
That's last one.
Who's doing South Street?
Bishoy. Maybe he's in the attendees.
Is that on there?
There are 7 users.
Can you unmute Bishoy? He's on the line.
Gentleman at the end of the table, hi, who are you here for?
I'm here representing the time head. I'm just
great.
adding a little color to all the
Yes,
DDC projects.
well, we have questions for you.
I'm sure you, hopefully I have enough answers.
Okay, good.
I do not see.
Wondering why.
Sorry, who is it?
His number is 973-752-7524.
Okay, found it.
Yeah, please unmute him.
And if you could also move over Frankie and Amanda Gerges, please, as well. Thank you.
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yes, we have it.
Hello?
Hi.
Okay, great. Okay, great. Let me know if I should just get started.
Yep, go for it.
Okay, great. So, hi everybody. I'm very fortunate to be the I guess the head runner for the first project for the DDC. This is Projects for Community Board 1. So it's been a while since we last met and spoke. So of course a lot of progress took place. Of course we were anticipated to begin and we begun. Maintenance and protection of traffic mobilized on site. And we had that whole thing in front of the Tin building that's been now moved, but that was November 2023. We were anticipated to be completed by the end of August, hopefully with no delays. Just a reminder that the contractor does perform all his work from 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. The next slide, please. Just confirm that it's been changed because I don't see it.
Yes, it's changed. Bishoy. Go ahead.
Thank you so much.
You can't see
So,
the slides,
as far as the operations associated with the project, what's been completed and ongoing, I just put it in parentheses just to show where we are since the progress of our mobilization or the inception of the project. So what's been completed is completed is the video scoping of the interceptor sewer inside and the adjacent combined sewer. That's bypassing the debris from the interceptor sewer at Fulton and going back in right after Dover. So since then, we completed test fitting to locate the subsurface interferences, including the utilities and the infrastructure in that area. What's ongoing currently is the cleaning of debris within the interceptor sewer ahead of installation of the SPR material. And we are currently 100 feet south away from the completion of the SPR installation of manhole 3. Manhole 3 is located at the intersection of South Street and Dover Street, and we'll see that on the map in the upcoming slides. The installation of the bypass system was completed, and it's also in use in order to redirect the debris of the interceptor sewer while the contractor is inside the interceptor sewer to perform his work. So, you know, we don't want that level of sewer kind of pushing at them away while they're trying to do a trenchless infrastructure or complete a trenchless infrastructure project in that part of the sewer. To date, we've completed, and this number is revised, approximately 920 lineal feet of SPR interceptor sewer lined, and that's out of 1,050 approximately. So we're, you could say, 20 feet away from manhole 3, and we're going to be additionally lining another 100 feet after that manhole in that area. So if you remember from the very beginning of the project's inception and pre-construction presentation, there's phases of this project. So every time there is an SPR liner installed, there's an annulus space from the host existing pipe that's staged and the new pipe that's being installed. And that annulus space, we're installing annulus grout in intervals of 100 feet. So only to date, we have 5 of those 100 feet intervals of grout installed, which means by the end of the SPR installation completion, which should be by the end of either next week or the week after, we're going to have 6 intervals to be installed and grouted, which we're proposing and hopefully able to complete by the end of August. Sorry, did somebody say something?
Yeah, I was saying, so you just have one more.
Right, yes. Yes. Yeah, they're going to complete the one before the last section, which is when they hit manhole 3, that would be the second to last section. Then you have that last section right after that manhole. Yes.
Great.
Next slide, please, with the photos.
Done.
Just confirm that it's been. Okay, great. So the work to be done is approximately, as a reminder, 30 feet below the subsurface. So that being said, we're utilizing these 4 manholes to get access to the interceptor sewer. And this is just the scope of the work that's being performed, and you can see it in the photos with different phases. So different photos to indicate different operations, but top left, you have the SPR spool being unwound and handed into the crew inside the interceptor sewer, and it's considered a confined space, but nonetheless, they use the interceptor sewer SPR installation machine to basically use this liner to create a new SPR pipe within the existing you could say damaged host pipe because of the 2 infiltrations that have the East River puncturing into it. So on the very left photo of the bottom, you're going to see a plate, and this plate is basically after one of the infiltrations were repaired. So you could see that there, you know, after trial and error to find the best way to prevent the high hydrostatic pressure of the infiltration, it was finally sealed off using different methods, but after it was sealed off, they used aluminum plates. They realized steel was too strong to bend over the rehabbed infiltration section. So they ended up using aluminum. And what you see in that photo is consistent with the first repair as well. And in the middle photo is one of the operations of the grout being installed in the annulus space between the hose pipe and the new SPR pipe until, of course, they pump the grout through one section of the pipe, and then somebody stands on the other end until the grout is coming out of the other side, not just to confirm that it's filled the annulus space completely, but to also collect samples to make sure that the design strength is being met for that specification. And then all the way on the right, you can see like a finished product, so to speak. This is manhole 2, so you're able to see the annulus grout that's installed there, the existing hose pipe, and then of course right in front of, sorry?
Are we looking up at that photograph?
No, on the very bottom, all the way on the right.
Yeah, no, are we looking up?
Yeah, what is the perspective? of
No.
Yeah.
Sorry, which photo are you referring to?
The one all the way to the right, are we looking up at it?
You can see the lights on top.
Yeah. So up, if you look up on that particular photo, that's the existing pipe. All right, and that's the only area in the whole project you're going to find the existing pipe exposed that way. Otherwise, throughout that whole section of this project, you're going to see the SPR liner pipe on the bottom section.
I got you.
All right, that's okay.
Okay. And in between that SPR pipe and the hose pipe, if you look at the photo closely, you'll see sealed off the annulus grout that's installed in between the two pipes.
Okay.
All right. Actually, we'll see a couple more photos in the next slide. If you could turn the next slide.
Next slide.
Okay, we're in the next slide.
Okay, so the next slide, top left. This is the liner machine now giving you a view of one of the walls that separate the 100-foot segments. So every 100 feet, we install a wall before we keep going with the SPR lining. On the middle top, you're going to see the liner machine continue installing the SPR material, creating that uniform SPR pipe inside. Far right, it's the same as top and bottom. You just see the spool being fed just the same way you saw it in the last slide. Bottom middle, it gives you a view, although it's not very clear, of the uniform SPR pipe from the inside, and then you see also the SPR material being fed. You could also see the water level as they're working, but they're able to work through those conditions. But if you look closely on the top of the photo, that middle bottom, you're going to see the uniform SPR material pipe to give you an idea of what they're building inside the existing pipe. And then the bottom left is just another view of the top left.
We have a question for you.
What's the lifespan
Yes, go ahead.
of the new liner? What is the lifespan of the new liner?
The contract, so I have two answers for that particular question. The contract gives the contractor up to 18 months after he's reached his substantial completion to ensure that there are no punctures, there are no additional damages made on this particular pipe. From our perspective, we cannot, since it's a pilot project, give a certain amount of time as to how long this is going to last.
Okay, so what was the lifespan? So there wasn't,
Unclear.
huh?
I'm just curious.
No, I was gonna say there wasn't a lifespan on the last one, or this is a new thing?
This is a new
So it's never was there before, yeah, all right, so, good, thank you. So you're still anticipating completion the end of August?
Yes, I got a couple of more slides if you'll bear with me.
Okay, next slide.
Next slide, please.
Yep, done.
All right, this is just a couple of photos to show the annulus grouting operations, and towards the right on the top and bottom, you'll see samples of the annulus grout being collected so that we could test for the design strength to be met. In the next slide, please.
Next slide.
As you can see on the right photo, the very far left photo, it's just the bracing of the inside of the SPR so it doesn't buckle as they're installing the grout. And then you have that same port that the grout is being either installed or fed or received from the other side. Middle, you're going to see basically a profile viewing south of the whole apparatus with the SPR installation machine, the bracing for the annulus grout. You'll have the bulkhead right behind the installation machine, kind of giving you like a view of, you know, the majority of the operations within one shot.
Right.
And then the bottom photo of that, you see the bracing frames that are installed within so that it doesn't buckle. And then the far right, that's the grouting machine that installs, or there's a grouting machine connected to a pump. This pump is where the hose is connected to and lowered into the interceptor sewer where they're able to pump the grout in the annulus space.
So just for clarity, the grout goes between the new liner and the old pipe, is that right? Pumped in there?
That's correct, yes. Yes.
And then the liner stays there, right? The liner
It's like
stays.
stuck there with the
Right.
grout.
Or do you, after the
Right.
grout kind of dries, do you remove the liner? No, the
No,
liner.
nothing is removed. Yeah.
Okay,
Oh, the
The only thing so the yellow bracing is installed to just maintain the profile of the new pipe during the grouting procedures, because the grouting, so the SPR material is made out of PVC. It's not like, you know, cast iron or ductile iron piping that you see whenever we open the roadway. So, you know, if we're installing grout in this empty space between the two pipes, you know, it could be subject to buckling. So the bracing just holds it into place until the grout hardens.
got it.
Excellent,
Thank
thank you.
you.
This is incredible.
Next
How are
slide,
you
please.
how are you finding the installation process? Is it what you were expecting?
Well, no, we're meeting a lot of challenges along the way, but we're able to adjust throughout. Like, for example, the grouting procedures, you know, at first it was proposed to be installed in every 100 feet segments. We later found out that it'd be better just to take it in one shot to avoid, because these are heavy bracing systems. They're made out of steel. So it also takes time to lower it into the interceptor, bring it back up. That's one thing. Another thing is the water level. So there wasn't a bypass system proposed before we started to offset the water level from one sewer into the combined sewer. That's another challenge that we met as well, because we need to lower the water level for them to work through that.
Okay, great. We're gonna have to move it along, because by 7, I'd like to get through this presentation, but, you know, we always find this interesting.
Would you like me to keep going, or do you want to go to the next project?
I think we should go to the next project.
Okay,
Okay,
Pat,
thank you for your time.
Pat, this is Dushyant. Pat, this is Dushyant from DDC. Just to answer that question regarding the SPR life, the SPR life is around 50 years. So
5.
50 years.
Great,
Okay,
all right,
Nice.
thank you.
You
we're
are.
into it.
very
I won't be around to when we replace it.
They say AI is gonna extend everybody.
Oh, well. My brain might win. All right, so we're moving to the next project, which one are we doing
Vesey
next?
Street.
Slide
Vesey
11.
Street.
Doing VC Street?
Yes,
Hello.
we're doing
Can you guys
VC
hear me?
Street. Gerald
yes,
is here
that
from
was VC
DDC.
Street.
Yes, can you guys hear me?
Sorry,
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry, who are we talking to? I didn't hear.
This is Gerald. I'm from DDC. I'm the RE for the Vesey Street project.
Oh, hi, Jared, okay, hi.
Hi, good evening, everyone. So this is Vesey Street from Church to Broadway. So we have a new anticipated projected completion date, and that's on January 2nd, 2026. Next slide, please. So this is just a brief overview of the scope of work, which is water main, sewer, sidewalk installation, curb replacement, ped ramps, and street lighting. Next slide,
If you want
please.
to see this presentation.
So
Let me just
from
interrupt you. Was this one of the projects that was being held up because of Con Ed?
yes, we are currently doing Con Ed work, but they are working to resolve that because it's currently interference with our curb work. So that's what we're
We
getting
have a
into.
representative from Con Ed here. So I would
Yeah.
need to, I'm sorry, hold on one second, Gerald. Would you introduce yourself, please?
Sure, good evening. Good evening, everyone. My name is Emilio Gonzalez, and I am with Con Edison's Government and Community Affairs team. I joined the team late January of 2024, so I've been on the team a little over 1 year now. My work supports downtown Manhattan, so Community Board 1, Community Board 3, and occasionally Ad Hoc Community Board 2 as well. For the context of the VC Street project, I have been in communication with the DDC CCL to try to resolve some of the delays that were occurring as I joined the team. To my knowledge, in the conversation I had with her yesterday, I believe it was, during the DSC here with Zach, she told me that the delays that were previously, I think, attributed to either some manhole issues or some steam abatement issues, you can correct me if I'm wrong, gentlemen on Zoom, have been, for the most part, resolved, and Con Edison has been maintaining a productive and thorough work schedule, and as of now, to her understanding and to my understanding, there have been issues. She mentioned to me that there is she thinks that in a couple of months, they might need a feeder outage, so she put that on my radar, so that if and when, we're not behind the ball, we can be a little bit more proactive and less reactive, which we kind of have been in the past couple of years. And that's what I've been talking to Zach about, and some of the other CCLs, is trying to be a little bit more intentional and proactive with some of these projects. I had a lot of conversations with Philip on the Brennan Street project on the same kind of vein, so that things can actually get moving and we don't wait till after at the end of that.
Okay, great. All right.
Hi,
Good.
hi, Pat. This is Laura. How are you? I
Hi,
just want to
Laura.
chime in a little bit on the conversation with Emilio. As he said, I've been in contact with him regarding any Con Edison delays, and this project was in a halt, waiting for Con Edison steam abatement crew, but that has been resolved. It's been already maybe a little more than 2 months that we've been constantly working. We have no delays as of now when it comes to Con Edison. But I've been working with Emilio very closely, so we've been smoothly working so far.
Okay, cool.
Can I ask the gentleman?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I ask a question?
About this BC Street?
Yes, as long as he's here quickly,
Well, he's staying, so.
there's a street flag on Gold Street.
It's not BC Street.
I know, but that's came out, and I've been trying to get, 311, I called 311 a few times. The DOT told me the reason is it got disconnected and Con Ed needs to come and disconnect it. So I contacted Con Ed. How can I contact Con Ed to try to get that?
I think you can reach out to me through Zach. If you give me the exact address, I can reach out to who internally. Based on my understanding, it typically falls on DOT, but if DOT is directing you to us, then I'll figure out who internally we can.
They put like a yellow tape on it that said it's.
All right, Morton, direct it to Zach, and then Zach will take care of the problem.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, I'm sorry, Gerald, go ahead about BC Street.
Yeah, so we don't have any delays from Con Ed. It's just that the abatement is just a lengthy process. So as the picture shows, we're continually excavating to relocate those electric primaries and the steam repairs.
What?
They are interfering with the replacement of the curb and sidewalk on the south side of Vesey Street. So once we get that done, we could start doing the work on the south side with the curb, and then move to the north side to do the curb, and finish off with like the sidewalks and then the street lighting and then final restoration.
Now,
You had a question?
sorry, one of the issues you were having with this project was that all the scaffolding on the north side of the street, you wanted to replace curbs and some sidewalk panels. Is that still a problem?
Well, RTCL Laura has been in contact with the businesses with their sidewalk sheds. So a lot of them are you correct me if I'm wrong, Laura. I know the sheds on like the corners, they're like just applying to get those removed. 20 Vesey Street is about to install a sidewalk shed, but they're just gonna do some minor facade work. That should be they're gonna install it soon, but then that should be out of the way by September. So they shouldn't really be interfere with our work as of now, but Laura still coordinates with them
Right.
on a weekly basis to get that under control. But as of now, we see it as not a problem because once we do the south side, by the time we move to the north side, I believe those sidewalk sheds should be clear and out of our way.
Okay, great. Terrific. All right, so the completion date at this point is still January of 2026.
Yes. Next slide, please. So just pictures from it's kind of hard to tell, but Con Ed has their specialty crews to do asbestos abatement work. So once we excavate and then the steam, there is asbestos. The Con Ed crews come out and they do the asbestos removal, and then we, as we move on, they encase the steam main with concrete, and then we just keep going along towards the end of the street. Next slide, please. And then this is what I was talking about with just the steam work after the asbestos removal. We do the steam work, housing encasement to make sure it's safe for future use and is protected. Next slide, please. Next slide. And then as we move along and that we encase the steam and remove the asbestos, we backfill the trench temporarily so we don't have a open trench for long widths of the roadway. Next slide, please. Next again, that's the encasement.
Okay.
Yeah, next slide, please.
So that one.
Yeah, next slide again. I think I went back. Yeah, and that's it. That's all the progress for Vesey Street. If anyone has questions.
Vesey Street questions? No, I think the main thing was Con Ed, so that was answered. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
Next project.
Could you please move Amanda to the panels, please?
Okay, I have to stop the presentation because my computer's overloaded.
So what are we're working on Trinity?
Trinity, yeah. So then out of order, what should we? She dropped off. Not there anymore, so.
Can we get started?
We move to Dwayne?
I'm here.
Hello? Hey, Pat?
Yes, yes,
Hi, are you doing Trinity?
yes.
Yeah.
I could do, what, is Besher around or Omar, or it's knocked off?
Yeah.
Can you hear you?
Omar's here.
Thank you. Omar's in the meeting.
Okay.
Okay,
Good
all
afternoon.
right.
Okay, go ahead. So, yeah, we started working on this project October, September 2024. We started, these are the limits of the project. The scope includes construction of roadway, traffic signal, traffic lights, and we added a scope to this, major scope to this project, water main, which was not part of it, at least the major part was not part of the scope, and steam main upgrade. Okay, that's why the projected completion date has been pushed from September 2027 to January 2029, mainly because of this.
2029,
So 2 years.
2029.
I mean, we hope we can finish early, if there's no.
Yeah, but even still, we were counting on 27. All right, 29, go ahead.
That's the project. Could be faster.
Well, does that mean that as you go along, you're gonna reopen and move?
Yeah, the intent is to work block by block, starting from south. So we started from Morris,
Right.
we did the water main work. In the process of the water main, the new water main, we have to relocate some utilities, you see here. So we go block by block, and we have to skip the next block because there is a scaffolding over the road we started from Morris to Edgar. Then there is a scaffolding that's being removed actually this week.
It's on the school, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so they're
Prevented
moving it
us
this
from
week?
continuously going
Okay.
north. So we skipped, we went to Rector Street. I'll get to Rector Street.
Yeah, I'd like you to get to Rector Street, please.
Mid-down, this is the picture replacing all the cast iron water main between Morris and Edgar.
Wow, that one was really corroded.
Wait, so that's the water main that's causing the delay? Is that correct?
No, scaffolding
Scaffolding.
Okay.
in front of the new school.
Too fast.
You're on NASA too.
You're going for it. You're trying to go back?
Back.
That's the bottom.
Meantime, you can just tell me when
Yeah.
Rector Street's gonna be reopened.
Looks great.
There's like so much traffic.
Yes. And they got to that.
There, right there.
Okay, this picture is about repairing the steam, similar to the project before us. In the process of replacing water main, we found that the steam main was, the housing was damaged, so we had to replace it.
So Con Ed,
Yes.
and so everything's okay with Con
Everything's
Ed?
good, they worked hard, they worked even on weekends
Yay, great.
to repair the housing. There was some asbestos removal as well.
Different story than years ago. Good.
Yeah. Now, now we get to Rector Street.
Yes.
All right, so,
Talk to me.
you notice we closed the street about more than a half ago. We have a detour in place, we informed the people. This is for mainly to do some corner utility upgrade, which were part of the project. Okay, in the process, when we started this is the detour plan.
Yeah, I know.
When we started the excavation for those utilities, either replaced, upgraded, or relocated, we found one sewer manhole that's cracked. As you see,
Probably 200 years old.
yeah. So, decision was made, obviously, to replace it. But, you see the space is tight, there's a lot of utilities
Yeah.
around it.
Yeah.
So and we also find out there is a steam main right near, east, west of the manhole, about 4 feet. So, the concern is that if you excavate to replace this manhole, you might affect the structural integrity of that steam. Steam main, the anchor, the hoses. So Conrad did a good job at coming up with a new design, how to secure the steam main in order to replace the manhole. So now we're working on that, extra careful, the excavation, given that we're near the Trinity Church, like walls, and there is a subway entrance nearby.
Oh, yeah.
And we have to-
We have two subways between.
Yes.
When was that put in? How old is that?
The manhole?
Yeah. Yeah,
You
that,
know,
that,
At least from 19, we have drawings from 1913, it was there. Yeah,
oh,
everything down there is.
yeah. No. And so the new life is 50 years? Is it the same as the other one?
I will have a different type of
Hopefully,
manhole.
so
You
life,
understand
life.
that This is brick, we use concrete, precast.
Before the 1900s.
Oh. So we're proceeding very carefully. We don't want
Okay,
damage.
it looks-
Do we have an asbestos problem? We could. There are some portions of steel. Steel may not use, so we don't expect to have asbestos issues. Okay. But some are still on. We take care of it. So how long? How long, that's a good question. We need to coordinate with Trinity Church. It's been going smoothly. I wouldn't say the same with MTA.
Well, what does Trinity Church have to do with it other than it's located right by the?
Yeah, they gave us drawings to locate the walls, what's underneath the walls, so that we know.
And you have the, was it Alexander Hamilton's buried right
Yeah,
there?
yeah, but I have to be very.
So you're getting, Trinity Church is working with you?
Yes, they
And
gave us,
everything's good? We don't have to
Everything's
ask
good.
them?
we just need to get the approval from MTA to proceed at one location near the subway.
Do you need our help with that, or are they?
Far we're trying, could be a little smoother the process, but, if we need help, we'll let you.
Okay, so you don't.
Just a point of concern, it's like, with all of this going on underground, I don't understand who's making decisions to do all of this construction on top and make all of these build all these high rises and add all of this additional pressure before
On
we
this
even
land?
get
Yeah, but there's
that.
nothing like that.
No.
Yeah,
With
you know,
concern,
it's money.
one more money.
So developers and money. So you can't give us a deadline on when Rector will be open because of all the entities involved.
Yes,
Okay.
so as soon as, we fix the manhole, we'll see clear path. Problem is have to get, take out the manhole and replace it.
Because it's causing a big problem. That's, down there.
We do, the road is not fully closed, the south side.
No, but Rector is exposed to cars. That's the problem. It's not the pedestrians, it's the cars. Rector, we only have one street that goes east. That's the only street.
Very well.
going east.
Can they
Working
reopen,
diligently together.
can they reopen the alley that they closed, the block south?
No, because we just had a meeting on that. I'll tell you about that later.
No, not the,
10th Street?
no,
The one that we're giving to
the
Rector.
exchange,
Yeah.
no, not that, Exchange Alley, isn't it?
But,
It used to be open to cars.
well, that's further south. We're up
Right,
up
but
north now.
it's half a block.
Well, we'll have that conversation. That's DOT. That's Betty's. So anyway, we don't know about Trinity, but just please, as soon as you get any information, even if we don't have a meeting, would you just let
Yeah,
us know,
well,
please?
the CCR, I think that'd be a good job of keeping the public informed on the programs.
Okay.
Let you know.
So then what else about Trinity?
Might we have a scaffolding, good news, the scaffolding over the roadway between Edgar and Rector is being removed. By the end of this week, I think it will be done, but we'll still have a portion of the sidewalk. The scaffolding over the sidewalk will be removed by the end of the summer.
The scaffolding over the sidewalk at the school
Yes.
will be removed by the end of the summer.
Yes.
Okay, and then you have to go backwards. Because you skipped that portion.
Yeah, we'll still.
Okay, okay. Can we move on from Trinity? So at this point, I don't like any of the news about Trinity. So we're going to NASA. Rosa, are you online? No, she's not on.
I'm here for, this is Yale for the National Street Project.
For the NASA Street project? Yep. Come on down. How are you?
Okay.
Thank you.
So for the National Street Project, I just want to briefly go over the scope of work. Our project is 3 blocks on National Street between Bryan and Megan Lane. The scope of the work is new granite curbs, sidewalks, ADA ramps, catch basins, wayfinding signs, streetlights, installation of 9-inch concrete road base with asphalt, and a bump out, sidewalk bump out on the east side of National Street, in Cedar. Next slide. Thank you.
The bump out is right where the stairs go downstairs in the.
Where the train station
Yeah.
is at. The work that we've completed on the east side of Nassau between Cedar and Liberty. We've completed, Con Ed gas main work, we've replaced it. We've also done ECS utility relocation, in order to accommodate the new street, the curbs and the, installation of the new roadway. Currently, we're working on the west side of Nassau Street between Pine and Cedar. We are doing Con Ed, utility relocation and also bulk, reconstruction work.
So Con Ed, we're okay there?
Yes, we are.
So far, so good.
Yeah.
So good. I've heard good things.
I love all this good news.
Sometimes things take time to change, but I like the trajectory that we're going in so far.
Good.
Everything's going
Like,
good.
good.
So once we're completed with that, we'll be moving on to Pine and Nassau Street. And we'll be, doing some more kind of utility work, manhole work,
I'm sorry, I'm being a little dense. So right now you're up to Liberty.
Right now, we're completed, we completed between, Cedar and Liberty is completed.
Okay.
So
Now you're
now we're
moving-
between, Pine and Cedar.
Oh, so you're going backwards? You're
Right.
going south?
Correct.
Oh.
And then, once we're finished there, we'll be moving on to Pine and Nassau Street. So we're on the west side where 120 Broadway is at,
Yeah.
where we're working right there.
But I
on the
mean,
west
so you said you're going backwards, so you're gonna go to, between Pine and Cedar? Right now, you're
That's
between
where-
Pine and Cedar.
That is correct.
And which side of the street, west?
On the west side.
Okay, so then you have to go to the east side?
And then we're going to the corner. It's the,
Right, the Federal Hall.
that is correct. We're going to that corner there. We'll be working on catch basin and doing some kind of manhole work on that corner
Okay,
there.
cool. And then don't you have to jump though from Liberty to John? Is it John? You're not going to John.
Once we're completed with that, then we'll be doing some roadway work, roadway restoration work, on Nassau Street between Liberty and Maiden Lane.
Maiden Lane.
That's the last phase.
And then, okay.
And then it'll be completed.
When do you think that will be?
We just had it extended.
Oh, no.
We're looking-
Not good words.
We anticipate it'll be finished by June 2026 or sooner.
Okay, I like the or sooner fit. 2026, all right. So in 2 months, you'll tell me some good news, we hope.
Hopefully.
Yeah. But so far, you haven't run into any problems.
No,
And since Con Ed is being so great.
we haven't had any issues with Con Ed.
Jinxing it.
Yeah. Look, I'm knocking.
Yeah.
Great.
Next time. These are just some pictures, of the relocation and restoration of the, ECS duct banks. They had to lower them in order to accommodate, the installation of the new roadway. This was on the east side of Nassau between Pine and Cedar by 28 Liberty.
Yeah.
That's-
And you've been in touch with that building and the management, so let them
Yeah,
know.
where we've been in, I communicate with them quite often. This was a mass excavation that we had on the east side between Cedar and Liberty, where we did catch basin work. And,
Next time you come, 2 months, we don't have time tonight, because I'd like to get finished by 7.
Okay.
I want to know what the orange wires are, what the gray ones are, what the, so you'll tell us next time.
Okay.
We're geeks, we like to know.
Next.
That's
This is
the
the
water.
replacement of the 12-inch gas main
Oh, that's
that
gas.
we did. Next. We installed a new fire hydrant and a new catch basin. Again, this is on the southeast corner of Nassau and Liberty. Relocation and restoration of the ECS ducts to accommodate the catch basin and the curbs and the street light and the new roadway installation. Right now, we've been temporarily closing the street between Pine and Cedar on Nassau Street, so this is just a map of the detour.
I know what I'm trying to get.
We try not to close it, we're closing it only if we have to, because we know that, that it can be an inconvenience to the community. That's it.
Okay, great, thank
All
you.
right, thank you.
We'll see you in 2 months. So where are we now?
Hi, everyone. Good evening.
Diddy?
We're
We're doing Dwayne?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes?
Hi, good evening, everyone.
Good
So
evening.
this is a, I'm sorry?
Go ahead.
Okay. So my project is a pedestrian ramp project. It's the installation of complex and landmark pedestrian ramps. The scope of work is is the construction of, obviously, I just said that. But it's includes pavement markings, curb and sidewalk reconstruction, street lighting and traffic signal replacements, curb alignment modifications, water main work, and hydrant relocations. Also the installation of catch basins, sewer manholes, and chute connections. So this project entails 24 locations, 13 of them being within Community Board 1. As of now, there are 9 that require underground work and 4 of the 13 being surface level, which will be in phase 2 of the project. Can you skip to the next slide, please? Okay, so this is one of the locations. This is the location where Duane Park is located. We have 3 sites within this vicinity. It's currently Hudson and Duane, J Street and Hudson, and J Street and Staple. The red indicates the pedestrian ramps installations that's part of phase 2, and the yellow are the catch basin locations. Can you skip to the next slide, please? Okay, so this is one of the locations, Hudson and Duane Street, which is across from Duane Park. As of right now, we have completed phase 1. We installed a catch basin, and that's completed. Can you move to the next slide, please? This is just a photo of the location on J Street in Hudson. It's the excavation to clear interferences with Con Ed. Next slide, please. And this is on the J Street and Staple Street location. What we're looking at is
Between, it runs into the park?
Yes.
Is it, John?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
any other questions?
Yeah, that was true.
Oh,
That's,
that's
that's,
That's Hollister.
okay, but, so if this is the park, this is, I wanna say Greenwich.
Right.
Greenwich, that's that little tiny street that runs into the park.
Runs away. from the
Staple.
Yes,
park, I guess.
that's Staple.
Okay, thanks. So big question though, when are you gonna be finished with the project?
Can you go back a few slides, please? Okay, so the project is anticipated to end in September of 2026. Oh, you can go forward. Sorry.
Yeah, can you see?
You're going backwards. One more? Perfect. So
Hello?
We lost her.
Did we lose you?
No, I'm here.
Is that the one or?
No, this one's fine. We'll just continue. So this is Collister and Late. This is one of the locations that we need to relocate the hydrant. We actually had a test shutdown a few weeks ago. We do anticipate to do water main work, but that will not be taking place anytime soon. That will be upcoming within the next few months. We have installed one catch basin and also two catch basins, sorry, and a manhole so far. And that's about it. Next slide, please.
How will this affect the residents? If you have to install, if you have to shut down, what does that mean?
We will have working hours. I'll send out advisories and precautionary advisories and information for the community.
So on this one, just because when you were doing the catch basin work a couple weeks ago, the traffic backs up to Hudson and across Hudson. There really needs to be a flagger or something at that intersection. And there definitely was not.
Hi, this is Marlene from DDC. We can bring that back to the attention of the engineers.
Okay. And then, sorry, just one additional question while I have the mic. So some of the other intersections that were on the list, the intersections that cross, you're doing crosswalk work on Greenwich in that area. I know you're gonna be making the curb cuts and the crosswalks, but I brought this up when this project first came up. You have profoundly bad cobblestone streets over there. Not just at the intersections that are being dealt with. What can be done when there's the reconstruction portion of it at the crosswalks to improve some of that? Because we're talking about accessibility and it's completely inaccessible.
To improve the cobblestones between like in the middle of the block?
Well, the crosswalks that are affected will be repaired, but I can't remember exactly what intersections it were, but you skip like every other basically. But it's
No, but I mean, every other intersection or in the middle of the block, are you talking about?
I'm talking about both. It's impassable.
We'll go through the cobblestone issue where they only have one crew, is it, that does cobblestones?
But it's not even within
Hi,
the scope.
Pat. Yeah, so for this project, the locations are designated by DOT, and it is only for the installation of the pedestrian ramps. For any issues with cobblestone streets, I would recommend the CB contact DOT to review those locations and add those to a future project.
So we'll have a separate conversation.
We've had those conversations.
I know, and some streets have been repaired and some haven't, so again, let's have it, cobblestone street repair.
Does that include Harrison Street? I mean, streets that are not part of this list?
Yeah.
Because we had that resolution years ago, and it's still.
So, yeah, it's a separate, unfortunately, we've been having. this-
Right, I know, but this is right in the area that they're doing the work.
But it's not the intersection.
But, well, it's the intersections, it's around the intersections. It's just.
Adjacent intersection.
But they're not gonna do it unless it's the intersection. Yeah.
Right.
So, because it's not part of their scope.
Then why bother at all?
No. There are I have a lot of those questions. All right, let's continue.
Next slide, please. That's all. Does anyone have any other questions?
No, but if you have any suggestions about repairing cobblestones that are right next to the intersection, please let us know.
That's something I'd have to discuss with DDC and the team. I'm not sure what the conclusion would be, but that's something I definitely could take to their attention.
Okay, well, please do.
All right, have a good night.
Thanks. We'll see you in 2 months. Philip, before you start, I have a complaint. So, Brandon, one thing I wanted to call out with, Con Ed, sorry, not you, Con Ed, is that they started sawing or jackhammering at 6 a.m. last Saturday. It's on Greenwich Street, Greenwich Street construction. So do you have any knowledge of 6 a.m.? Can you find?
Aware of that, but I'll investigate
Please.
with our,
Last Saturday.
our community construction liaison and our, Basically, the CPM, the project manager,
Please.
try to put in stipulated hours.
Okay.
Yeah,
and
I'll
give-
follow up.
Please.
Supposed to be like 8
Do you know what
12, but
the hours?
that's quite early.
Top of mind, I don't, I think
Eight.
that's supposed to be.
I mean,
Saturday for Barclay and Greenwich, we have 8 AM, 10
Eight,
PM.
yeah.
So
Okay.
I'll see.
But 8 is every day, it's not just Saturday.
Happening on weekdays.
Non-weekdays.
We try to not jackhammer until 8, 9.
Yeah,
But there was a lot of expedited work, so I'll get right into it.
but 6 is,
6 is,
reasonable.
I'm not even awake.
You know what, cross street? I know it's Greenwich.
No, I just, yeah.
Greenwich and Barclay most of the time.
Okay.
Okay. So hi.
I'll try to keep it brief. Good to see
Thank
everyone.
you.
My name is Phil Stafford. I am from the reconstruction of Greenwich Street. Brief recap. Greenwich Street is basically a full roadway reconstruction. Water work, there's drainage work, Con Ed work, there's ECS work, which is telecommunications, and then all of our restoration work. The way it's phased is we're doing all of the work from on Greenwich, from Barclay to Murray Street, doing all the underground, restoring the whole thing, and giving it back, because Bank of New York has their own project that follows us. That's a different story. And then we'll go from Murray Street to Chambers Street. So we're still in phase 1 right now. You can see our projected completion date is November of next year. We've actually been able to hold that date for quite a while, so no delays as of now since our last schedule. Time elapsed 70%, and then percentage complete 55%. Numbers are always a little skewed because the percentage complete is how much money has been paid out. There's a lot of money at the end of the job, so I think it's a little bit more than that. Just convention. Work we're doing. I'll run through all my slides and then we'll talk about Con Ed because we might be the reason Emilio is here tonight. So what we're doing right now, we're working at Greenwich and Park, connecting 20-inch water mains in the intersection. Then we'll take the water main from Park to Barclay Street. And then on the west side of Greenwich, down by Barclay, we'll have like utility work, catch basin, because that's where the curb is coming out, right? The curb is being extended there. So anything in the curb line has to go.
The curb is being extended by BMCC,
The other side, the west side,
west.
so the bank side.
The bank side. Oh, that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah. So
Okay.
at the corner, in the middle, and then at the other corner at Murray Street, 20 feet. Which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you see the line on the street, it's significant. Let's see, just a few pictures. This is Greenwich and Park, kind of see BMCC in the background. This is all to move the utilities, connect the water mains. Water main is a red valve on the bottom, 12-inch. It's 2 20-inch water mains somewhere in there. All has to be connected, and then we can keep going south on Greenwich Street. This is Greenwich and Barclay Street, facing west. It's kind of where we began. It's a mass excavation area, a lot of Con Ed work. The new manhole in the front is built, so all the cables on the left side are being spliced and going back into that box. Con Ed's working there daily. Actually, I got an email today from Con Ed, my personal email, and it has a little video on the bottom. I said, that looks familiar, and it's a 1-minute video of one of the splicers just explaining what's going on. And it's,
Cool.
yes, if you pay Con Ed money, you probably got the email, most of it.
Pay them a lot.
And this is Murray Street. We talked about this in the past. Murray Street between Greenwich and West Broadway. So this was outside the original scope of the job. The manhole was, dug the street up. It was totally in terrible shape. We had to rebuild the whole thing, rewire it. It took forever. So hopefully this week into next week, we'll start to backfill some of that, like up to the western edge, the close edge to us by Chipotle. So that's great because that's been open for a long time.
And the bus was stopping there.
Yeah, the buses moved because of, on the other side of Murray Street, by Bank of America, we excavated and Con Ed has a defaulted wire, which basically can't go within 15 feet of it. We can't work by it. So that's being worked through Con Ed's system. It's known, it takes a little time. Okay, so Con Ed, when we started the job, we had a lot of Con Ed work, but we didn't have any feeder work, which is the primary electric lines. Started digging up the street. We realized the feeders have to go, they have to move. It's a very big process. So how I think of it is our contractor, DeFazio, puts in the empty conduits from manhole to manhole to manhole. When that is done, Con Ed pulls the cable, and they can de-energize the old feeder, energize the new feeder. We cut the old stuff out, we're good to go. So say in November, say Thanksgiving last year, we realized we really had to make a push to get all the empty conduit in so Con Ed could take over and do their part. And as of May 10th, after working many 14-hour Saturdays with jackhammering, we have all the conduits in. So big push is to try to get this work done before the summer, because usage goes up, Con Ed can't work in the feeders, and then we have to wait till the fall. So we're on the list. We meet with Con Ed every week, and that's basically where we stand. If we can get the Con Ed work done, if we don't do the feeder work in the summer, it won't stop our job. We can still do city work, but we might have to take a look at the schedule because then things get a little full. Yeah.
And when you say you wouldn't be able to start again, you wouldn't be able to start again until September?
Or basically when.
August, actually.
August, whenever the.
But what do we think about?
So actually, funny enough, I had a heat drill today from 7 a.m. till I don't know when. I was in the room with our VP of Electric Ops, and I figured, oh, this is a great opportunity to talk about this Grinnell Street project because you can move us up the schedule theoretically, right? So I got clarification that it is a piece of misinformation that we don't do feeder outage work during the summer. We don't prioritize it, to your point, because of the risks to the grid, right? If there are high heat temperatures, if there are, if we're in ICS or incident command structure, which is basically like we're in a heat wave or like something goes out in the area, we need to make sure that we're maintaining the reliability of the grid. We will not be touching any feeders, but we still do feeder maintenance throughout the summer. I guess it's my understanding that our colleagues in public improvement, who you probably work with the most, they, to set expectations, they generally tell people, hey, it's unlikely that we will do feeder work during the summer because they know that our crews are being, dragged to emergencies, right? They're prioritized elsewhere. So in my conversations with the VP and the folks on her team, she said it's not unrealistic or not impossible that it'll get done this summer, which is news to me because basically Philip and I were under the assumption that if it didn't get done in the next 2-3 weeks, it was gonna be September. So 2 pieces of good news is that it can still potentially get done in the summer, and then if it doesn't get done between now and the summer, it'll be August rather than September. So that makes me a little bit more hopeful. I think in conversations with Philip and my colleagues at PI, we've made good, or public improvement, we made pretty good progress in the work since, like as Philip mentioned, from November till now. Got a kick in the butt from you guys a bit, which I think has helped. Probably from me too, and from our colleagues at PI. So I am cautiously optimistic, is what we were talking about yesterday, and then also the default, I think I'm feeling a little bit better about as well, just based on the conversations we had today. Like, we're gonna have more conversations because we have to then dive into the heat drill, which is basically just like, hey, if this goes out, what are we doing, and who are we calling, and who are we sending? So we have to like lock into that, but that gave me a little bit of hope, which I was excited to bring to you all.
Okay, so maybe.
Philip and I were basically like, if it doesn't happen in 2 weeks, we're gonna have to wait till September, you know.
So you don't come back again until 2 months, but if you can find out beforehand when you're gonna pull the cable, but you just let us know.
So that's a big thing is we
And just,
we need the cable pulled no matter
Right.
what. So we're hoping that, it's only been a couple weeks since we got everything finalized, so we could at least get the cable pulled, then we get moved up the outage list, hopefully.
Right.
We just figure when it gets hot, things slow down, not that it's not possible.
Yeah.
But there's also days where if it's hot enough consecutively, Con Ed will put our contractor on a contingency day, which means they can't even put a shovel in the ground, so.
And we understand. I just want to explain, because neither of you were here when it used to be a normal part of the DDC coming to quality of life, that Con Ed, a representative from Con Ed would come. This is years past. And so that we could have these conversations and get to know that Con Ed and the projects were working hand in glove. So if you would kind of put it on your schedule, you don't have to come every other month, but if you came maybe every 4th month, just that we could make sure that we are still in a good place of the communications, that would be great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. And
So Philip, I love you, but I
Yeah.
gotta rush you because. we're
That's,
gonna get to the next part of
my
the-
last thing is just, we're always thinking about pedestrian safety, so we added like 6 of these turning vehicles, yielded pedestrian signs. We have more flashing pedestrian signs coming. we're trying to get a temporary elevated crosswalk at Murray and Greenwich from the DOT. They're looking at it right now. And, yeah, that's it. I mean, there's a lot going on out there.
So as of the last meeting, we had a conversation in the meeting about the flaggers been kind of not really being responsive.
I've seen them more often.
Yeah.
Are they better now?
Which I've walked by every day, you're gonna see a flagger on their phone at some point. Sure, they shouldn't be. I've always kind of pushed back. We have 4 or 5 flaggers every day. We have some very vocal ones. They're involved, but we do remind them, you know, try to be nice. And we've also told the bank, like, just remind your employees that you're walking through an active construction site every day. So I think that helps. And we're also still, of course, we're meeting with Bank of New York to kind of coordinate the handoff from our project to their project. Emilio joins us sometimes. It's always a nice call.
It's been a while. So the other issue last time was about that triangle that's at Murray on the west side of the street that we think some of your people, contractors, were parking there.
Yeah, so we remind the contractor, you can't park a private vehicle on the job site. We have a few commercial vehicles that you can. They shouldn't park there. They do a good job. Sometimes we have to remind them. It's like a rampant placard abuse down there, I guess, like everywhere. So
Yeah.
it's tough, but I'll remind them again.
And the one last thing was, on the side of the BMCC, where we were talking about pedestrian congestion when people were trying to go north and south. We
Yeah.
talked, and that more lighting was needed there when it was mainly though in the
It's
fall.
lighter now in the evening.
Yeah, it's lighter in the evening.
Yeah, they added, I think it was January, they added like 8 streetlights and
Okay, great.
arranged some,
Yeah, it's
so,
better.
and when it gets dark again, we'll double check.
Yeah, because
So-
summer now stays.
And also
light.
for, I know it's always a concern, when early voting starts, we'll have that,
June 14th.
we'll have that nice and have a flagger
I
there.
was thinking
Okay,
about that.
fantastic. Great, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much.
We love that you're so responsive. Thank you so
Yeah, we're-
much. And Amelia, welcome.
The emails.
Thank you. We appreciate you coming and being responsive also.
Right.
So I'm gonna call this part of our meeting to
Before you leave, then I'll ask
Sure.
a quick question. How do residents know if Con Ed is actually doing the work in an area? And I'll give you a very specific example. Sometimes we get these cars, out of state license plate, take off the sidewalk and say we're with Con Ed. Show us something called Con Ed. Nobody knows what's happening, and it happens in an intersection that is a very difficult one, the one by the school. Cliff. By Cliff and John. There's a construction and then there's a school, and that's what gets everybody in the neighborhood very upset. It is a special needs school that has buses, and the traffic becomes insane.
Can I interrupt you, sir, for a second?
Yeah.
Emilio, so is there a project going on at Cliff and John?
There could be, I'm not entirely sure, honestly, so one of the resources I was gonna give you is, I'm not sure our planned work is typically on like the permit map, which is what I typically do to cross-reference if we have a crew there that's repairing infrastructure, it'll say Con Edison or one of Con Edison's contractors, and it will say like steam, gas, electric, whatever the work is, so that way you can confirm. Additionally, sometimes some of our electric crews, I believe it is, because some of our crews are better at putting in their permits than others, is what I'll say, right? And some of our crews are like, well, we own this infrastructure in the land, we don't have to put in a permit. Some crews just do the emergency work and don't put in a permit, so you can't tell. But to your point, or to the person's point, you can call 1-800-CON-ED, and typically, the control center will have a map or matrix of where folks are, so you can confirm that this person is actually Con Edison, or if it's just some bozo pretending to take up the space that is bothering you all.
Is that number though like a 24/7 number, or so any time of day we could call?
Yep.
Morton, I
We
see
have
your,
people working right now.
Morton.
What goes on at Cliff and John is the construction of a high-rise
Yeah.
building.
Yeah, she lives right there.
Oh, I live around the corner.
Yeah.
And the construction crews, the flaggers, they constantly stop the traffic on
Oh,
one street.
yeah.
and the Titus School is right there. And
Yeah, yeah, so that now in the mix, we have this woman who is extremely rude, saying she's Con Ed, parks a car, takes a bunch of cones. When we talk to her, she screams and says, call Con Ed, and even the cops today came and she was nicer to the cops because people are concerned, what is this woman? Because we don't see any work. Nobody knows.
You know what she looks like?
I know her license plate number.
If you can send us much information.
Yes, they've also been doing some work down the next block.
Oh, please. That's, right, I wanna turn this into a whole conversation.
Yeah.
Would that help?
Very much so, but Zach, I'll start bothering you. Zach.
Right, yeah, that's one thing, but you have the number?
Yeah. That's why we wanna go quick.
Okay, you got the colors on. All right, so do I have any residents in the room that wanna discuss anything that GDC or Con Ed? No? 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 Okay, so, thank you again. I'll see you in 2 months, Emilio. Nice meeting you, Philip. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody online. And we're going to proceed. So are there any residents here that were here because they thought we were gonna get some information from DHS? No. Is everybody else here because they have some street cafe or, yeah, everybody in the room? Nobody here for anything else? Max, you're here for that, street?
I'm here for this.
For the report. Okay, all right. It was scaffolding. I forgot. I'm sorry.
Gotta read your.
So, all right, hi.
Am I up?
Yeah, go. Introduce, tell everybody what you.
I have some notes I can share around. I don't know if I have enough for everyone in the room, but I definitely have enough for the here. Yeah. So people want to just pass these around.
Thank you.
Yeah, I apologize. I meant to make this look a little nicer, but got pulled away today. So these are my notes. Yeah. So I'll kind of start. I'm here to talk about scaffolding, which it kind of, if you've been outside, you've seen a lot of scaffolding. They're up forever. And so, yeah, kind of recently the council passed a series of legislation to basically reform the process, because the way it has been is if you're a building owner, you need to do your facade repair work. All you had to do was get a permit for a scaffolding, and you didn't have to actually do any work. All you had to do was just renew the permit over, constantly. And that's kind of why we've had these scaffoldings that are up for months and years, because the DOB had no requirements to actually be doing the work. As long as, right, and I think the scaffolding permits are, at least until now, were a year. So again, you did it for a year, you could have the whole year, no work, and then all you have to do is just the next year, renew that permit again. And, right, because from the DOB's perspective, you are in the process of doing the work. If you're following the rules, as long as all your permits were filed, you were good. And so after the council recently just passed this series of 5 bills, to kind of, address both there's kind of two sides of it. First, there's the design and accessibility side and safety side. And then there's the actual structural issues of there being no actual system in place to address kind of these bad actor property owners. And so I'll kind of go one by one and start with kind of the smaller ones and then get to the really strong bills later. So first, which passed, so Introduction 391. This is to kind of change the design of scaffolding, to kind of move away from these kind of really cramped, dark green structures. And so, yes.
This refers to the entire city?
Yes, yeah. So these are, I'll get all the dates of everything also. Yes, these are citywide. This is gonna apply everywhere in the city. And so kind of the first part of this bill, right, DOB has to conduct a study to come up with alternative designs for scaffolding just generally. But even aside from the study, DOB is gonna have to kind of propose rules for using netting instead, because I think one of especially the mayor's priorities is to move away from giant structures and consider netting just on the side of the facade to catch anything that falls. It's going to require scaffoldings to be higher. So they're currently, I think they have to be 8 feet high. This bill that it's going to move it to 12 feet unless it obstructs any windows or entrances, light sources. And I think on top of that is increasing the lighting. So there's 2 lighting bills. This one is just the amount of lights there has to be. There's going to be more lights. And again, under the scaffolding. It also has to do with the colors. So again, currently all scaffoldings and construction fences are that dark green. I think that was a thing that the city decided years ago was
white though when you see like the urban umbrella ones.
It's
taller.
probably some,
Yeah.
You see a lot more people. You see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably more expensive.
They are more expensive.
yeah, so, yeah, I think again,
What a difference though.
yeah, and this will kind of, will change things. So again, not the color itself will be a huge difference, but it's just, make them look a little nicer again.
I'm
Make them
sorry.
bigger, give more space.
Since
Yeah.
Jared brought up the urban umbrella, the thing about the urban umbrella is you can cross the street at any part.
Right.
It's not like the old scaffold. Is that part of the law any place?
And a lot of it, they have like, it's clear on top.
No, but I mean, you now.
No, I know what I'm saying, and the
Yeah.
ceiling.
I think that's what the study is probably they're gonna look at all these.
Because that was one of our big problems, that you had to go to a certain spot to
opening.
be able to cross. We want the openings to be.
Yeah, and I think the intent, especially the mayor's intent, is to really, prioritize ways where you don't have just this closed-in structure, like the netting, maybe the urban umbrella.
Yeah.
So that study's due also pretty soon, so that should be.
Would you let us know when that's happening?
Yeah, that's the 30th of 2025, so again, assuming they do it all properly.
Thank you.
Yeah, that'll be in the fall, and then kind of everything else, right, all those other design things take effect 4 months after it became law, so everything was signed into law on April 17th, so about a month ago. The second bill increases lighting, introduction 660, that basically, just, they have to be brighter lights too, LED lights, higher lumens, make sure that they're not facing anyone's windows, but, right, just to kind of, make them brighter, feel safer, then now we get it,
Anyone's window that's in that building or across the street, because that's an issue.
I believe it's just any windows.
How do people?
I can again check the exact.
We've had people call in years past that lighting from across the street.
Yeah,
is
we heard that too. Yeah.
So-
So I can double check on that. I do believe it's just it's not supposed to go into any kind of entrance.
And so can you check and see how people who live across the street or next door somewhere, how they would complain and get it
Yeah.
fixed, because we had an issue.
You're gonna get to that part.
Yeah.
Right, Jennifer,
Sorry,
all these
sorry,
things.
sorry.
Yeah, no, that's okay. It's the right question. Then now we kind of get to like the real kind of more structural changes. So kind of right, the reason why the scaffoldings are a thing is because we have local law 11, which is where every 5 years, buildings have to have their facade inspected and then do work to correct any issues that might be on their facade. So what the bill passed now, it's not going to be every 5 years anymore. It's going to extend the time frame. And I think, this kind of comes from just the cost on a lot of buildings. A lot of, especially smaller buildings, where it costs them millions of dollars every 5 years, and often there's not problems. And so, this is kind of, there's two aspects of this. One, there's Eric.
No, okay, continue. I've got a question I do have a question, but not in the midstream.
So there's two aspects. One is just the DOB inspection. So right now it's every 5 years. And so now it's going to extend that to sometime in 6 to 12 years. That's part of DOB to decide, again, as the rulemaking goes through. And then also there's just the FISP, the general, like all the permits, the paperwork, everything that's submitted to DOB beforehand. That's also part of, they're going to do a study now to determine, right, how long it should be, beyond 5 years. I know, I actually just met with a property owner, or not a property, condo board member in Tribeca, right? And they're spending, right, they have their historical building. It costs them a lot of money to get people to work on their facade, especially because of the historical nature of their building. They need specialists that, again, cost millions of dollars, and their building's fine. And again, it's every 3-4 years because the process starts. So again, I think this part is intended to, just kind of ease the financial burden on a lot of these buildings. And I will say that it was interesting because local law 11, again, because I think there is the real safety aspect of the facade, and they did work on this bill, and it had the support of the family of the woman who was killed by the falling debris.
I know
happened, And again, so I do think that's an important part, that, right, even the impacted family members of people who have been killed by facade debris think that the current rules are too restrictive, and it's going beyond, right? It's not a safety thing anymore. It's just a kind of over bureaucratic thing. So I think, hopefully this will just make it easier for buildings.
So my question may be related to that same condo building, but, and I understand this only a little bit, but there are certain cycles that are only partially included.
So that's a good question. That's one thing that, because there's different cycles for the facade, like the FISP, it's called the Facade Inspection and Safety Program. So the current cycle, because the bill goes into effect in 2026, it's basically a question of, will it be retroactive or not? And it seems that at least currently, it's not that, right? All those currently undergoing, it's currently cycle 10A, I believe is the cycle there and now. And so, yeah, I have gotten that question. I haven't gotten the chance to, because it was just this week that people started breaking that to me. So I haven't had a chance to talk about that with DOB or Councilmember Powers yet, but I do think, yeah, that is a good question of the current cycle. Because yeah, if we're acknowledging that these timeframes are not necessary, why are people who are currently undergoing it, if they just did it a few years ago, why should they do it again? So that is a good question. And I think, yeah, we'll kind of see
No, I'm
how the
sorry.
conversations go.
I would like to get done in the next couple.
Oh, yeah. So I'm gonna go, really, yeah. I got two really quick ones. So then these are the kind of the strongest ones. So first is to kind of address building owners not doing the repairs themselves. So, right, this new law will, DOB can impose penalties on the buildings for not submitting their construction documents, not filing permits, not finishing the work. And so there's different timeframes. So again, if you don't submit your construction documents in 5 months, you get penalties. If you don't file the permits for construction in 8 months, you get penalties. And if the work's not done in 2 years, you get penalties. So that's more on the actual building construction. And then there's the scaffolding side, where, yeah, so currently, right, I mentioned that the scaffolding permit, it's a year. So this reduces it to 3 months. And so now building owners every 3 months have to renew it, and they have to prove they're doing the work to renew it. So now, yeah, that's the big one. Where now it's like, you can't just renew a permit for a scaffolding and not do the work. And if building owners are not doing the work, they do accrue penalties and fees for that. And again, any delays, like building owners have to show evidence that the delay is from some work-related thing that they are kind of in good faith. Yeah.
In number 5, it says if penalties accrue for the long-standing sidewalk sheds, then permits cannot be renewed until fines are paid. At some point, what incentive do they have to, they're not paying the penalties and they're just leaving the sheds up there. So what happens at that point?
That's a good question. Yeah, and I think kind of that leads me to kind of the next part of like just generally I think a lot of the details of these, because it doesn't go into effect until January and they were just passed, I think we're going to kind of wait until the DOB rulemaking to see exactly what these are going to be. And I think in terms of a community board, I think, yeah, asking these questions, thinking these things through so that by the time. Yeah, and I think that's a good point.
Just leave it.
Yeah, leave it there and just not pay anything, right? So, yeah.
Don't take that.
That's actually always been the problem.
Yeah.
Project that hasn't been addressed with this. It was always cheaper for them to leave it and
Yeah.
pay the fines or not pay the fines.
Well, part of it is
incur
that
the
yeah,
fines.
there really weren't fines, and I can
Like,
see
do the
there's
work.
also possibly, again, that maybe I missed just provision in there that addresses that, so I can double check on that. That HPD does that, so I'm guessing that would be
But
the
that should be like,
mechanism, yeah.
the way it's written, that's like a
Yeah.
unknown.
Yeah, no, definitely. And so, yeah, and I think, yeah, kind of the big question is, right, how will this be done, right? I'm guessing they will add new 311 complaints for people to file these things. But yeah, I think, DOB doesn't have anything rulemaking scheduled on this yet. And so I think, yeah, we'll see, I'm guessing in the fall is when they'll start announcing the rulemaking processes for these. So I think, yeah, I'm going to kind of make this a more formalized document too, that I can, send to DAC and the community board, so you can all kind of take a look. And I hope to do that today or tomorrow or Friday. And then, yeah, so that in the fall, kind of put together the questions and, we can take those back or at the community board if there's a resolution that's needed.
And just
right
for
when it
next
gets to that.
Tuesday's meeting, so this scaffolding legislation was passed by the full.
Yeah,
council?
it's
Okay.
passed, the mayor signed it into law, and so they were all signed on April 17th, and so, yeah, all these go into effect 9 months, so again, about in January is when these will go into effect.
Okay, very much. Thank you. I'm so glad. Thanks for being responsive to.
No, of course, yeah, so yeah, I'll take these
So
questions
you'll
back.
send us the document.
Yeah, again, yeah,
Okay.
my goal is to make this a memo that can really kind of get really into the details, so I will.
Okay,
I'll send it
and if
to
you
you.
think we need to do any kind of reso.
Yeah, again, I think it's too early to tell, but I think it's
Okay.
good just, to pay attention, and we'll be paying attention to.
Okay, we are happy because, scaffolding has been
No, yeah,
on our agenda for 10 years.
Yeah, no, again, I think a lot of these side-eye buildings is gonna make a big difference.
Yeah. Thank you, Matt. Thank
course.
you. So I know you've been waiting patiently. Hopefully you've gotten some information that you can use out of this. So I'm gonna switch chairs now and you guys are gonna take over being chair for this part of the. Francis, I'm switching to you.
Come over here.
I like the partnership there, the switcheroo, that's working for me.
This is Zach, I'll sit here. All right, whatever, I'll sit in Zach's, here, I'll sit here.
Okay, there's a request to move up Warren Street Bar and Restaurant. Any objection to that?
No.
No.
Is Warren Street Bar and Restaurant here? Okay. Do you want to do the sidewalk or road bed first?
It's only sidewalk.
I have two. Only sidewalk. Okay, great.
So that's not what we have.
Warren.
Oh, Warren Street? Yeah, no, it's only.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm getting.
Warren Street is the hotel, right?
Yes.
What do you?
It was just switched order. Apologize.
Am I supposed to hand this out?
So
No, I'm pulling
you
it
can
up.
stand up and introduce yourself.
That's
I'm shutting up though, because I'm not chairing, so Terry.
your checklist, Francis.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Nick. I'm the general manager of Warren Street Hotel. We opened the hotel February 1st last year. As part of our liquor license application, we said that we would operate for a year before applying for a sidewalk cafe, which we've done as per the DOT guidelines. We put an application in for 2 tables with 2 chairs on each table outside from the hotel. Part of our application, we've applied for the same hours as the restaurant. We understand that it is outside, so happy to discuss that with the community. I know we have a number of neighbours from Haley Warren Street next door, so happy to hear from them. I know that when we applied for the liquor license in the hotel, there were concerns, and we made some changes to the liquor license. So we leave that to you guys.
So I want to mention one thing. We're also going to be doing the liquor license stipulation at the same time.
Yeah.
So I will be at the same time filling out this stipulation sheet. You'll take it back with you.
Yeah.
And then you sign and notarize it.
The license for the interior? No, this is for the sidewalk.
This is for the sidewalk.
For the.
For them, it's for the sidewalk. For others, it's the others, but
Right.
we'll be doing it for all of them.
What is this for?
Okay. That's a checklist for committee to help you ask questions.
Oh, thank you.
So Francis is,
Oh.
you're aware of the checklist.
Yes. Yeah, he said how many tables it's gonna be.
It's 2
4
tables.
seats, 2 tables.
That's correct.
Should we have a picture of the facade?
I did send all the photos to the community board.
So could you pull up and show us where the tables gonna be right there?
So we have this is the main entrance to the restaurant. And we would have ropes and stanchions just around here. And there'll be a table of 2 there with 2 chairs and a table there with 2 chairs.
Do you know how many feet of sidewalk that leaves?
If you go back to
Scroll
the
up,
other
there's a
diagram,
diagram there.
you go back, it has all the measurements.
There's a diagram.
So you have 10 feet from the tree pit,
Mm.
10 feet because of the designation of the road, but I believe it's a regional corridor.
Yeah.
So there's 10 feet and then 10 feet from the edge of the stanchions of the road to the.
But it's 10 feet.
What are the hours of the restaurant?
So
You could go, could you scroll down back to the hours, Zach?
The hours are establishment though.
So we open for breakfast at 7 a.m. And everybody is out by midnight.
What are you asking for the cafe?
Well, we would like to open for breakfast. It doesn't have to be 7 a.m.
It's not allowed under outdoor.
Well, it's not allowed for outdoor and it's too early for liquor too, is it?
Yep.
But we don't have to serve liquor for breakfast. The liquor license, we can serve liquor at different times. So whether we open for breakfast at, say, 8 a.m. with the tables outside, and then liquor can be served from noon, for example. And then I know across the road, War and Peace came for their sidewalk cafe. They were allowed to keep that directly opposite, or just slightly diagonal to the hotel. They're allowed to keep their tables up till 11:45 p.m. They were at the meeting last Wednesday. So we would like to ask for the same, but we are.
But Sundays.
Except Sunday, Sunday, 10 o'clock.
Sundays, 10 o'clock is absolutely fine.
Mhm.
But to be honest, 11:45, the restaurant is pretty much closed up. So till 11 PM would be totally fine for us outside. Even 10:45, that's when we start taking last orders in the kitchen. So that's what we'd like to do. So,
Do the outdoor tables come in each night? or-
yes, they do, yeah. So the ropes and stanchions and the tables will be put in there.
No umbrellas, so.
We have no plans for that.
And so above you, it's just the hotel.
That's correct.
And next to you, are there residents?
Yes, we have 80 Warren Street, a number of neighbors from 80 Warren Street next
Right,
door. And we have 92 Warren on the other side, basically.
Do we have residents from those buildings here?
Yes.
And,
Right.
yeah, can you identify yourself?
Yes, I will. I'm so sorry. I can play for the next one. So if you're comfortable for 1 minute, I am the president of Warren Street Tennis Court, largest co-op on Warren Street. We're on the north side. We face the Warren Street Hotel.
Are you Greg?
I'm Greg.
Hi, Greg, I'm Pat.
Thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. My neighbors are with me. We've also been talking about Warren and some of those online faces, not names, are here as well. So we are very grateful. 22 years in Kimberly Court One, kids in all the local schools. It is that which is one of our primary objections, which is a full objection to the operation of the cafe. We are focused on quality of life for our shareholders, for our buildings. We have not experienced improved quality of life since the hotel operated. I know we've come here before regarding things like walls drilled through, there's not things. These are ongoing issues which continue to cause us a number of challenges as a resident in the neighborhood. We also observed, this morning, I was standing outside just watching my kids go out, it's not interesting, either side at 8 AM, we got 145 school kids going to 234, 89, 289, the German school. Any restrictions to the sidewalk thoroughfare, we think is an impediment to the quality of life. We also have shareholders who have young children who immediately border the east side. We find the operation of the hotel. My understanding was that the restaurant, at least on the website, is until 11 PM. And so that would be at least a bound, but we see no reason for operation again in entirety. The primary reasons being the thoroughfare nature of the street, the crowdedness of it. The hotel dining is clearly not crowded, they're never in capacity, so there's not a need to go into it, we would consider overflow. And again, if I just show, I brought some. We drilled through a wall, the roof, but this is, it's very simple. But these are where we want to live in our building, and we just think it's a disruption. We've already experienced this on a daily basis, you know, seats and with evidence. 5 AM in April, when a Cisco truck was idling and loading, completely unnecessary outside of the scope, we would think is a reasonable quality of life. So we do not see a track record of someone's history that validates our support of the cafe. We know 92 Ward feels the same way. We're, I don't know, we know, but we did want to voice our objection to this operation.
Okay. Well, can you take it into consideration that together and Greg was your spokesman?
Yes.
Yeah. Nobody else needs to speak here? Any other buildings in the area?
Taking into consideration that that's only on one side of the street, there's only 4 seats, and on the other side of the street are 3 establishments that have sidewalk cafes. I find it hard to.
Are you opposed to those as well? I just want to say that I think our building may be the only one that has ground floor residential. So our experience, that we have worked with Nick very cordially to deal with the truck unloading in front of our windows every morning at trucks, 4 AM, 5 AM. He's been very responsive to that and helpful. Nick is not always there, and employees of the hotel are not always respectful of this, and not always out to calm the noise down, which has been looking us up a lot at night. We don't have full reassurance that with restaurant clientele outside, that there won't be additional noise. We are 10 feet from this area on the ground floor. The other sidewalk cafes do not have ground floor residential right next to them.
Yeah, go
ahead.
Let's address the
No, of course.
problem. So what truck delivery?
So just to give you a little bit of timeline, so when we opened the hotel, we didn't have enough rooms to automatically get a loading zone. So we put an application in, Deborah and Kenny were supportive of that, and we got the approval, and it was installed, I believe, towards the end of last year. They actually installed it incorrectly, and we had to correct it because they actually put the loading zone in front of Warren Street, which was unfortunate. So the DOT had to come back and fix it. I am in contact with Deborah and Kenny regularly. Obviously, I'm not there 24/7. We do run a hotel. It's a 24/7 business. We have delivery trucks. Early in the morning, throughout the day, during the night, and I'm very responsive and do my best to speak to our vendors. We take CCTV footage, we send it to them. The biggest problem we have is Warren Street goes uphill, so the trucks all want to park in front of the loading zone because then they can wheel down to the service entrance. We are constantly in touch with our vendors. The last email correspondence, I believe, was the end of April that I had with you. Apart from that, our night managers who are on 24/7, they send me reports. The Baldor truck, who pulled up earlier this week, claimed that there was a car in our loading zone, so pulled up in front of 80. And we spoke to him and he said, no, there was a car in front of 80, so we couldn't reverse back. We checked the cameras. We're in touch with the vendor to say that's not the case. So we are trying to be as responsible as we can be as a 24/7 business on Warren Street.
Is there an expectation of additional trucks if you were to?
There's no further
add
deliveries.
these seats?
It's 2 tables of 2. I fully understand where 80 Warren Street is coming from. We are willing to look at the hours of operation for the 2. We're willing to look at the hours that liquor is served outside and remove the tables earlier than across the street where they're allowed to have their tables up till 11:45. We try to be responsible. I can get 92 Warren. They do not have apartments on the first floor. I know a number of neighbors in that building who would be in favor of having the 2 tables outside, especially with the summer coming up, that they can come and have a cup of coffee in the morning outside rather than coming into the air conditioning. I do fully understand where 80 Warren is coming from. As the GM of the hotel, I will do my best. We run a business. We are not perfect, but I will always do my best.
But how do you police that in real time? Because,
Police what, sorry?
well, if the Baldor truck comes, there's somebody on
Well,
staff there.
we have a
to
night
receive
manager,
it,
we have a
right?
night manager who has CCTV. They're normally at the front desk, which is right in front of the front door where they can see the loading zone. So if the truck pulls up and the loading zone is there for deliveries and drop-offs, or if there's cars picking up a guest and they can park there for a short period whilst waiting to pick up the guests. With the delivery trucks, that is an ongoing, it's an ongoing issue, it's an ongoing battle with our vendors, and we are in touch with them on a daily, on a weekly basis.
I'm not saying after the fact, I'm saying whoever's there to receive the delivery says, the driver, you have to move your truck.
And sometimes there will not. And that's when we say to the drivers, here's photos of you parked in front of 80. You refuse to move down into our loading zone because it's more convenient for you to just put the delivery part down of the truck and then deliver it into our service entrance. Unfortunately, our service entrance connects to 80 Warren, which is right next to where Deborah and Kenny's apartment is. So it is an ongoing battle, and as I said, we have been emailing since the hotel opened. We do our best with the fact that we have to. Yes.
These issues were discussed at the liquor license.
Hang on,
And the liquor
Francis.
license was approved.
Francis, I
Yes.
apologize. I'm jumping in because the gentleman only knows what War and Peace applied for. That is not what the community board agreed and they agreed to at the meeting. So where the gentleman for the hotel is insisting on 11:45, that is not what they agreed to when they came to the community board. And I want to make sure that he understands that because the cutoff was 11. It was not 11:45.
But he's also,
Yeah, he said he'd be willing.
Willing to go to 11.
He said even 10:45.
We're happy to.
Whatever.
Yeah,
To adjust the time. They're flexible with
The
the time.
challenge that Francis and I are having, we've been going back and forth, is that the complaints that are being received now are more applicable to their liquor license as opposed to just adding 4 seats in front of the establishment. So we're like, well, what do we do with this?
because we know they applied, we know there was support from our buildings for them.
So at that
One
point,
This was in April when my 4-year-old woke me up and I took a photo after the zone was installed of an idling Cisco truck unloading. This would create more of that. It's understandable.
okay, so if you let us know that.
And I have my 311 printout, and I have my 311 printout of what I
But
called.
you need to contact.
But if I
I emailed them and I filed 311.
Just a moment. No, maybe.
So I was at the transportation committee when you came to ask
Yes.
for the loading zone, which we didn't realize was like, we'd have to look at the recording, but I don't remember talking about trucks at all. I remember talking about Ubers pulling in
Right.
and it not being long enough for, like, you were in that meeting. We only talked about people being dropped off from the
Okay, but
airport.
they have to have I mean,
I'm really
Well,
sorry.
why didn't we discuss it then? Why
During
wasn't
that
the-
meeting, the delivery truck didn't come up 100%, and that was the whole point of getting support from Deborah and Kenny for the local zone, because all of the delivery trucks will park in front of 80 Warren because it is up the hill, and therefore they can unload and go straight for the
What,
loading.
there's no hill there.
But it's just the way the.
Wait, incline.
Wait.
Incline, well, we can't all talk at one time. Hold on a sec, so can they just turn off the trucks?
Well, they're not supposed to idle. That's what I was gonna bring up. It's illegal to idle.
It is illegal
But
to
the
idle,
refrigerator-
we tell them that, and they have 3 minutes, from my understanding, on Warren Street, which we tell them repeatedly. Yeah,
And so, hold on, so the idling goes on for longer than 3 minutes?
Yeah. And also, I'm not, actually, we're not here to complain about that. We've been very communicative with Nikki. Our sort of bolstering the idea of doing the loading zone was specifically for truck loading though, for us, for our purposes. The Ubers that come and go, that, that's part of the thing here, but the trucks pull up because the loading door, the back of the truck dumps right down in front of our windows and then goes in the door that is 7-8 feet away from our door there. So they're inclined to park there. They never pull down into the loading area.
That's
I'm not here to complain about the trucks, to be honest with you, because we do have a good dialogue and we don't have a 311 trail because we deal directly with Nick and he's very responsive. And it works for a while, but it just 4 a.m, 3 times a week. I'm on the camera and I don't even bother sending.
Okay, so I have to say it's two different issues.
Yes.
Your issue is my committee, quality of life. You gotta, I'm sorry, but you gotta call 311
Okay.
and you've gotta give us,
But at some point, the reason we're here now is not because of the trucks. The trucks we sort of bought into and agreed to, but it's like we have to draw the line somewhere. The quality of life on Warren Street is insane. And the idea that what's happening across the street is a good precedent isn't.
but see, we're constrained.
Yeah, we're in a position where
well,
we can't just arbitrarily say, we're gonna say no to this one, but okay to these.
20 across the street.
So what we can do is try to come to some sort of compromise, right? What's fair with regard to the hours, rather than tell them they can't have it at all.
And also know that regarding the idling, that's one of the things that comes up at the liquor license.
When their
We
liquor
asked-
license comes up
we
for
asked
renewal,
that
you come
question.
back.
We asked, their liquor license is gonna come up for renewal, and you'll be able to.
That's a
bring that
different
up.
conversation.
But in terms of right now, in terms of, we're caught between a rock and a hard, because we've got 20 people, 20 seats, I'm exaggerating, on the other side, and you're talking about 4 seats. He's willing to compromise in terms of the hours, you know.
He's a good dude. I like him.
So it kind of puts us.
Why did you
So
offer to?
let's go to Mitch.
Soundproof windows
I mean,
Morton.
Morton.
I just have a quick question, and if I missed it, I apologize. How many seats do you have inside the restaurant?
We have 50 in the bar area, and 50 in dining, and then private room in the back.
So I'm a little bit mystified. Why is it so important to have 2 seats out in the street? When of course you have like 4 seats, when you have so many seats inside, and the community doesn't want it.
well, the counter to that though is why 4 seats controversial.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, wait till you
Exactly.
get to the next
Well,
one.
but again,
Volunteer.
again,
But you can't,
Yeah, okay.
but Morton, you can't, that's not your
No, yeah.
purview, or just.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Say that the distinction is that we have ground floor residential living any other place.
So what hours would be, assuming that they're gonna have to cut the seats because it's for fairness, what hours would be comfortable for you? Since he's very, willing to be flexible.
Well, I just, the one thing I was going to add is that, we have steps outside our door, which is directly adjacent, to the loading
It would be
door.
right off the right side of that.
Right.
Oh.
When people go to restaurants in the neighborhood or they go into the hotel, they come out, people mill in front of our windows and they sit on our steps and smoke. We have a venturi, it gets sucked into our apartment. So from our point of view, the fewer people coming out from a meal or waiting for a table, standing there, sitting there, smoking, the best. Yeah.
Okay, so we often ask that the establishment have a designated person who shoos people away. Because now you can't smoke inside, so of course people are milling outside and smoking.
No, they're not supposed to have east.
I mean, that's also something we typically do as part of
We're
the
not
liquor
supposed to have-
license, not because you're
Yeah.
having 4 seats
Right.
outside.
Right,
But
so,
we can
but
try
that
to-
is something that is a quality of life
Everybody has to
issue.
be
Yeah,
seated,
you
not
can't all-
standing around.
Right.
There's
So
certain-
it's
they don't
your
have to
responsibility to keep
provide
your
Wait,
customers,
wait, too many conversations going
your
on.
responsibility to keep your customers off of their property.
Maybe I invite an answer to your question. I would invite respectful of the children's hours. Again, we have young families who hear everything that comes out there. So no, mine would be work hours, like 5, perhaps it'd be 6.
No, that's not
That's
reasonable.
not, that's not.
He asked though, he did ask. Yeah, he did ask.
Trying to answer your question with the children's for
Yeah.
the quality of life. What is.
Well, the answer, the end result will be some version in between these, so, we get to it.
So now, now we need to figure out between the committee, we've heard from everybody, what times we think is fair as a compromise.
We got a bigger tree.
Well, I think that we gotta go with what you gave across the street. You can't really be arbitrary and capricious.
That's true. What she said was that we have to look at what we've already given. And there are a lot of seats across the street from you that are on the same level as you, the ground floor.
To you, does the noise carry from the
No,
customer?
Right, exactly.
The noise carries from the customer.
And it probably carries
Oh,
more.
Yeah.
in front of those buildings.
I mean, this is a little out of our realm, but I really suggest that,
Change the hours.
no, not just the hours.
We're working on that now.
There's soundproofing. Wait, let me finish. Their soundproofing is an issue.
Same insurance. Same fix on building.
Maybe a cell to.
They have not paid the damages to us.
But you don't live in the same building. Gotcha.
Damages to repair.
Okay, so you know what? We gotta move to the liquor. You guys have gotta come back to me for quality of life.
But this is one of the steps we're all here.
We're just the hours, so now we're trying to make.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Let's get back to the liquor, so adjust the hours.
Okay, so what we like to propose is 10 to 10.
For serving liquor,
No, for your hours.
For your hours.
I'd say about 10 is.
Which 10? Morning 10 or evening?
Morning 10, evening 10. Morning 10, and I don't see why this is as much of an issue, is for people to have breakfast. I mean, so that they can have breakfast outside.
9.
What about on the weekends?
The restaurant.
If you're on the ground, we're being fair now, you're on the ground floor in front of these people's apartments, how early you wanna wake them up on the weekend?
What, so the restaurant opens at 7 a.m. inside, okay? During the week, it'd be nice if people from 8 a.m. could have breakfast outside. I'm just asking, this is what,
So 8 a.m. to 10?
8 a.m. to 10
During on the weekdays?
on the weekdays.
Okay. Response?
And there's only gonna be like 4 people.
There's 4 people.
Outside, plus the server
Same
at
time.
7 o'clock in the morning.
If there is noise, and I'll give you like an example, we have a leaf blower from the hotel and they were starting early. Derek Kenny emailed me, we changed the time.
Oh my God, a leaf blower. I wanted to kill some people that did that to me.
I just think I have a relationship with Derek Kenny and I do care, I really do care.
Yeah. They're
What were you saying you needed for the weekend just to open?
8, is 8 good, 8 to 10?
Sunday is
I would like the same, but if we do not,
You would like,
No, what do we think about the 8 to 10?
Sundays 10 a.m.
Except for Sunday.
But look,
If there's
okay.
if there's no alcohol, it's.
Oh, I forgot,
the
I
noise
forgot
can
too?
be
Okay, good.
Minimalist in the park.
What
Was
was,
9 a.m.
After the kids go to school.
They're handling it.
Sorry, Mariana, if you say after the kids go to school, they thought 9 o'clock might be a good compromise, so the kids were already in school, and so there's less.
And all the kids, and all the kids.
But what about on the weekends when it's at 10? 10 o'clock in the morning? No, I think it should be 8 o'clock in the morning on the weekend.
9 every day, 9, 7 days.
Well,
With the committee, not with the
Yeah,
residents.
no.
So here's a question though. What about, you're taking the chairs in and out? Cause I mean, that's gonna make noise as well. So how do you adjust for that? Cause even if you were starting at 8 a.m. you're-
Wait a second, hold on, I'm sorry, you're,
Tables and 2
This
pairs.
I'm reading the resolution.
Yeah, can we
And it's just like,
go back to, we're about to finalize. the-
maybe it's gonna, maybe it's.
the resolution we wrote last year said that you can't have deliveries except for between 7 a.m. and 6 p.m.
There were exceptions at the second page
To that time?
to that time for
What?
deliveries.
No, this specifically says deliveries. Trucks making deliveries to the hotel weekdays from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m.
There was a second page, there's a second stipulation for the hotel, which I can go back to, it's up in the bar in the restaurant.
Up in the bar in the restaurant.
That's where Twin.
I don't,
Do you have it?
we gotta look at this again because I feel like for.
More than happy to read this.
Restaurants.
Would that still hold?
But even that has nothing to do, it doesn't really have any bearing on 4 seats in front of the building.
That's true.
That's still, we can bring that up again when we.
But,
do-
and that's quality of life.
Yeah, we're about to finalize the hours, that's what I'd like to do with right now.
They're blocking the one lane
Okay.
with the truck.
Okay, so he said 8 to 10 weekdays, you countered with 9 to 10, am I correct?
Right. That would be 9, 7 days a week.
Okay, so what does the committee think?
I think 8 a.m. on a weekday is, people are up and out and heading to school and I just don't see the country.
Other people,
Excuse
let me
me,
get the committee, we're dealing with the committee.
Right, but it's a 10-foot gap. I don't get it.
Okay.
So you're for
You have kids.
I do, and they wake me up way before then. I don't know.
So you'd be fine with 8?
I don't see
Anybody
it
else?
during the week.
I'm fine with 8.
The weekend,
So
no.
much of a difference for 4.
Yeah, this is the weekdays only we're talking about right now.
Eight.
Okay.
Committee?
Well, my kids are grown now, but I was getting to 9, every kid is not on the same schedule. So it's not the end of the world, but I would.
This is weekdays only.
I would defer to the parents of the people that live there, so, but I'm only one.
Let's do this. A lot of it get.
Martin?
I'm opposed to open. I just think it's not necessary. Why disrupt the neighborhood?
Okay, all right.
Okay,
We don't.
okay.
That's my opinion.
All right, but it looks like the law.
What's the recommendation?
So that was the weekday, but
Okay,
what
that
about
weekend.
weekends?
Can I pop in and give a comment? I know I'm online, it's not easy, but.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know your hand was raised, Tammy. Go ahead.
Hi. I would do 8 a.m. during the week for them because I think it is a busier time. People are going to school and it's weekdays.
That seems to be a consensus.
I don't think that's an issue. I do think we have to be careful on weekends because you can't serve liquor obviously at 8 a.m. I don't think on Sundays.
No, you can't.
And whatever we're doing here, we have to make sure is reflective in the liquor license for outdoor. Because this is our sidewalk seating response to the SLA as well.
Thank you.
Sunday, the earliest is 10 a.m.
It's 10, so it's not even legal.
Yes.
For outdoor dining and for alcohol.
Okay, I mean, that seems reasonable. 10 a.m.
That's just a question I had. Do you differentiate between serving food and having tables there and when we serve liquor?
Well, that's not our distinction, that's the city. Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry, what are you asking specifically?
So obviously during the week, say for example.
Are we talking about Sunday or weekday?
Just a weekday, for example.
Okay.
So 8 a.m., we have tables out there. I'm happy not to serve liquor out there.
We got it. So we were
As
talking
far
about
as
8 o'clock.
kids go to school, we won't serve liquor at 8 AM in the
But
morning.
now weekends. Weekends.
Okay, that's good to know. We're
So you were
trying to
saying,
figure out the hours for the
but you were
weekend.
saying legally, the city, you can't,
Can't have sidewalk seating, before 10 AM on Sunday.
That's fine.
and what about Saturday?
What about Saturday?
Saturdays, the rest of the days are 8 AM minimum, or maximum.
The earliest you could start is at 8.
I'm happy to do
The
9
other
AM.
days.
So can we add
9 on Saturday, 10 on Sunday.
Saturday?
9 on Saturday.
Let them have
Is that week?
Yeah.
And I, by the way, I have a toddler and I live, on the.
Excuse me, just the committee, so
I am the one.
Kind of allow
Right, right
go
up
into them.
against the wall.
All right.
Excuse me,
Yeah.
excuse me, we're trying to have a conversation with the committee.
Somebody asked her.
Just want to.
Still, you guys, engaging them.
Okay, we gotta continue.
Because we need to finalize this and move on, because there's other people.
There's other
waiting.
licenses. So we're saying 8 to 10 week, Monday through Friday,
9
9 to 10
Saturday.
on Saturday, and
Yes,
10 to 10 on Sunday.
Correct. Okay.
All right.
You,
Call the question.
Wait.
Somebody call the question.
Is 10 o'clock at night on the? We made a
Questions been
distinction.
called.
That's not correct.
Yeah,
One
let's
second.
second.
There are sometimes distinctions made between Thursday, Friday, Saturday versus
no,
Monday.
but 10 o'clock is fine.
There's
Okay,
no,
I was just asking.
Yeah,
there's
10
no distinction. I second.
Thank you. Okay,
Yep, sorry, 10 PM closure.
yeah.
Sunday.
Some final
And then we
questions.
also want to stipulate the hours during the week that they'll start to serve liquor.
I think we're
What's
doing
the
the same.
city,
Is it, are we okay with the 8 to?
We talking.
I also would say,
The committee.
I don't think
I
the
think
furniture
people
should be
have
put out
comfortable
before the
hands.
start time though.
Sorry?
I don't think the furniture should be moved before. the
That's
start
not
time.
our call.
We're making a resolution.
Yeah, we could
What
designate
kind
that.
of it?
So you don't want the furniture moved before what time?
I mean, I'm saying, I don't live there, you guys live there, if I lived there, I would think the moving of the furniture in and out even.
Yeah, absolutely.
What time were you suggesting?
Well, how long does it take to move?
It's not about that, it's not about the time.
So he can, so 9 o'clock, you can move the furniture out.
Right.
Whatever time you start, you can
What
move it.
is,
Takes what, 10 minutes to move the furniture out?
what is on the floor?
2 minutes, yeah.
Did we have something? Yes, it's something on the floor. Question's been
How many bathrooms?
second and called, wait, we're not there yet. Because the question's been called and second.
But we're just trying to get into everything.
Okay, so let's get in the
All,
details
what we're about to
of
vote.
what we need to vote on, which is.
So we asked about the alcohol, yes?
I asked what time the alcohol, he's offered to not serve alcohol immediately, if we're requiring that. Or we don't have to, we can let him start when he starts, and at 8 o'clock, I mean, so that's what I'm asking.
Is there?
I don't think we can really start. at 8 o'clock.
Difference.
Hmm?
I don't think it'll be a big difference.
No.
So everybody's fine with that?
Yes.
What is the
Okay,
The layout,
We're gonna hammer it
the
in.
law is only about 10, Sunday.
Well, we
So
said
Sunday,
alcohol.
it's 10 to 10.
Okay.
He can serve alcohol anytime he wants on the other day.
Irish coffee.
He said that he's willing to serve the alcohol in later hours, so.
That's what I was going over just now, but the committee doesn't, they're not requiring it, they said it's fine.
I'm confused, Mariama. Would you mind, because it's a vote, going over the details one by one? So what is it for Monday through Friday? What is it Saturday and Sunday? I'm online and I'm confused.
Monday through Friday, 8 AM to 10 PM. Saturday, 9 AM to 10 PM. Sunday, 10 AM to 10 PM.
And that means when they're done, not last call, done,
Done,
furniture
done.
gone before then.
Correct.
Okay,
Okay,
Furniture moved in at 10.
so that's what we're voting on.
10 furniture gets moved in.
all in favor?
No, but wait a minute, you were gonna ask about, you asked bathrooms?
But we
Plenty of
vote first.
How many bathrooms?
Why would we vote first?
And before you finish this, I just need to understand what conversations were had in here about the loading dock and the loading zone for the resolution.
The loading dock
Because-
is really a quality, sorry.
hold on, Pat, when they came to us in April of 2024, there was representations made because they asked for the parking in front, and we went through this whole conversation about it, and their agreement obviously was they were not gonna do road bed, right? Because it said that, which is fine, they're not, but they were gonna do sidewalk. And a lot of the conversations had to do with noise outside and loading hours and zones. So I do think since he's standing in front of us and we had these conversations, that they should be, if we're gonna vote on this, he should come back to us.
That's what I
Because
said.
because he's not,
Tell
but
them
he's
that they're
not
going to
living
prepare
up
to
to
come
the,
back.
but he's not living up to the prior agreement. And that's a problem.
Yeah, and that's why I said they should come back
How
to
do-
quality of life.
What, how do we know that they're gonna live up to these agreements? if
Exactly.
They didn't previously.
But this is SLA, I mean,
I think that matters.
We could maybe make some kind of notation.
in the whereas.
Yeah.
I think we should make them because we have quality of life concerns.
Notation.
That they should go
Whereas
in
we're
here.
requesting that they come to quality of life.
Listen to Tammy saying something. Go ahead, Tammy.
My comment is that we should put in here quality of life concerns raised by the community for concerns that have promises that have not been fulfilled already. This is a DOT application for outdoor dining. The last application that came to us was DOT related. They made promises in that application that they're not. So I think that it has to go on here and cited to DOT. And that the applicant, I am sorry to say this, I mean, you did get the earlier hours that you wanted during the week, 8 a.m., which is great. But that, you know, serving liquor till 10 and that you have agreed to break down at 10 o'clock. So you're not there till midnight. That's great. We're really excited and thank you for that partnership, but you have to live up to the other ones as well.
What were the others? The quality of life issues.
Right, but specifically, what were they?
Oh, so there's two issues.
They're in the resolution from 2024, Transportation Committee.
Oh, transportation.
Can we get the stipulation pages and run through them?
Right now?
It's only here.
They'll be on record.
Yeah, they're on record. I have a copy of them.
From the 12th of April, 2024.
Well, I'm happy to come back to you on email.
He can follow up with Zach. That's not a problem.
It stipulates when our trash pickup.
So he'll follow up with Zach, he'll get on an agenda for quality of life, and he'll come back, and the community will come back when he comes up for renewal. Is that good?
I have a question. I just wanted to know if the delivery stipulations are the same for 24-hour businesses.
We already talked about it last year.
They are?
Well, the stipulations are whatever we put in the.
But what does
resolution.
delivery?
That's what we
do
did
with
that
it?
last
It's
year.
still, whether it's 24 hours or not.
Well, because there were issues about deliveries being at 4 o'clock. in the
Right,
morning.
and there are issues because they have times that they agreed to for deliveries and they're not adhering, or their sources are not adhering to those times. So it's a problem. That them being open 24 hours doesn't have anything to do.
Yeah, I was just curious if they're the
Right.
same or if there's particular to whatever.
Right.
report.
I think our stipulations are what we just.
So
added.
why don't you pull up your stipulations?
Yeah, repeat
And
the
Zach,
hours again.
And we-
get,
Yeah, do I need to repeat the hours again? We're about to vote on? We're voting on 4 seats, not on deliveries or anything else. That's 4 seats.
Right.
Okay. Are we only voting on the hours?
3.
3 bathrooms.
one's ADA.
Yes.
And 104 seats.
Can we, didn't we vote?
No, we
No,
didn't vote.
We did not vote?
No, on the hours, no, we did not.
Can we vote? please?
Yes,
Right. All in favor?
Is this just for the hours?
Just for
Yeah.
the,
Just
The
for
the hours.
4 seats in front of the
Wait,
building.
are you doing,
For the hours we discussed.
are you doing committee first and then public, or should I just?
Yeah, well,
just wait a minute? All right.
Are we covering the rest of the things on the list?
no.
Any opposed?
recusals,
Tammy?
abstentions,
Tammy, are you voting?
so they get the 4 seats.
I voted yes.
Oh.
They get
We
the
can't
time.
stand it.
No, because we're looking at the.
She didn't say she opposed.
Can you see us, Tammy?
Saturday.
He can see them.
I said yes.
I think some more easier.
Okay, so now, quality of life issues. You're gonna keep reporting. I know that you have a relationship, but if you want something on record, you gotta put it, you gotta report your 311.
Do our best to bring that.
Yeah, yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you for getting.
And, yeah,
We-
311, everybody, right.
Just for your representatives, you know.
And even for the restaurants across the street, if you have problems with them,
That you, I mean,
go on
because
record.
they have a lot of seats.
And when it comes to the quality of life agenda, bring all that with you again, because then that'll be the topic of the conversation.
So I thank you for the transportation information committee member.
Mimi.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it's on the internet, so it's pretty easy to find.
There's a lot of seats and no one's in them.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. You gotta move on.
So we're 8, 9, and
Stay in touch with Zach, everybody.
Absolutely. Thank you, Zach.
Okay. Is anyone here from 27 West Broadway?
Sign.
No,
You
yes.
want to, if there's a seat where you can get closer to the owl? Thank you.
West Broadway and what?
West Broadway and White Street.
Thank you.
So you're here for sidewalk and roadway.
Yes, I am.
Okay, so let's do sidewalk first because it's easier.
Oh, is it?
Now we're exact something.
Sidewalk.
Questions over the next.
Is anybody here? Anybody here from the community for 227 West Broadway? Okay,
Great.
So I'm Ryan Stone, I'm representing, Rigger Hill Market at 227 West Broadway. We're filing for a sidewalk and a roadway. For the sidewalk portion, we are just asking for a single table and 2 chairs outside of the shop.
A single, oh, I thought.
That's a partial before you had that.
I thought there was.
And what is your capacity for the indoors?
I mean, we have 7 seats inside.
Small.
Okay.
Oh,
Do they have a
And
bathroom?
how many are you gonna be looking for with the roadbed?
no, sidewalk, we're doing sidewalk first.
Sidewalk.
No, but it matters how many, when it comes to the bathroom.
14 seats on the side, on the roadway.
And how many bathrooms do you have?
1.
Is it ADA compliant?
It is not.
That's an issue.
It's a problem.
Because there's a step up,
There's a step up. Yeah, it's a landmark building.
right, but that's an issue not unique to them.
So I think you guys need the bathrooms they need.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're not asking if.
he answered.
But they're one and the same. The issue is one and the same. If you can't get into the building,
Oh, well.
So we use the restaurant, like, for anyone's ADA, we use the restaurant next door, it's our sister restaurant, so that we have an ADA ramp, so we allow them to use that restroom.
Okay.
And there's 3 more restrooms in that.
And you have the same hours?
That's open, yeah, they got anyone can go in there,
Do you have a full ramp?
That's the
we're
best
getting
answer.
it, yeah.
Because if you get a portable ramp, then they can deploy the ramp and then.
Okay, but right now, yeah, right
Is
now.
the shed, going to be ADA accessible?
The shed will be out of the ramp.
All right.
So we're gonna do one thing over 20 seats altogether.
Sidewalk.
Sides.
How many?
Put a motion.
and there's one of these bike lane ones again, right?
Sorry?
The bike lanes.
Only
There's
one.
a bike lane, and then there's like a space.
Yeah.
All right, let's do the sidewalk.
Well, let's do the.
Anybody have any questions on this one?
Walk seems like an improvement.
I put the motion, that we accept the one table, 2 chairs.
6 seats? One table, 6 seats?
1 or 2 seats.
2 seats.
And the
Do
second.
we have a second?
Second.
Second.
I'm sorry.
All those in favor?
Hours, did you?
The hours are fine.
Oh, no, I think we need to adjust, I think I put 8 on Sunday, I think, I didn't realize that it was 10 on.
Yeah, that's.
So that's the only.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's.
So these are the hours that you're
That's
asking.
your business
That's my
hours.
business hours,
but
so
the
I would ask.
Well, can I just?
Outdoor
interject
seating would
something?
begin on Sunday at 10.
At 10.
Okay.
Yeah. And do you have people living above you?
No.
Next door to you?
Nick closes at 7 p.m. This is a big one.
Any crews?
So, do we have a second?
Was second?
Yeah, it was
Let's vote.
seconded already.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Yes.
Okay.
Any notes?
Recusals, abstentions.
Recusals, abstentions?
Okay. Okay,
Everyone is yes.
Okay.
Unanimous.
Roadway,
Yeah, so it's, 7 tables and 14 chairs. It's a covered, it'll be a covered one since we're the.
So it was like a total of like 20 people outside?
Maybe
Yeah.
16.
16?
Now. It looked, oh, okay, you took one out because it looked pretty close before the way that.
Oh, it's not in there.
It's, 7 on the roadway, and then there's gonna be the one on the sidewalk.
Right.
So we had to adjust, on this application for the roadway one, the sidewalk, it had to be adjusted.
Right.
Because the cellar door is a means of egress, so we had it adjusted, but it was not reflected on the roadway, just the sidewalk.
Same hours?
Same hours.
And in the roadway, you have a walkway for your server to be inside of the roadway?
There's no servers, it's just like, it's like a coffee pastry for people.
So people are gonna go into the establishment, pick up something, come sit down.
Can I just ask a question? Is there a safety issue involved if they have a bike lane?
It's,
You know-
it's endemic to the city. I mean, it's
Yeah.
all-
If the DOT already approved it, usually.
No, but they approved it for servers.
No.
There's no
Oh.
difference between service and self-serve?
I mean, it's a profoundly stupid arrangement in
Right.
general, but it's allowed.
Okay.
It seems like you'll have to just look both ways.
So if they
Yeah.
get hit, it's their own.
Oh, you mean so
Like
that the
you have
bike
to do
lane
now.
and then the.
It's not unique to this location. It's,
Okay.
I think this is an
Any
improvement.
problems with this one?
I think we should.
Question, your sidewalk cafe on your roadway one is different?
Yeah, I adjusted, for the sidewalk one, we had a DOT, we had to amend it because of the hatch was a means of egress, so we had to do the one. So we adjusted on the sidewalk permit, this is for the roadway, I just didn't get adjusted.
Okay, but the roadway is the same on both?
Roadway's the same on both.
So to clarify, we're going from 8 to 7, Monday through Saturday, and 10 to 7 on Sunday. Any issues with that?
Seems fun. I mean, you guys were out there not on previously,
Can
right?
I just make one comment?
Yeah.
Just has to understand that everyone seated in the road bed is for seated service. There will be no stand-up service. Everyone is seated dining in road bed, correct?
It's self-service.
Well, self-service, they go in, they get their stuff and they come outside and sit in the seat.
Take a seat, have some nice coffee, go to the bathroom.
It's no alcohol.
No.
Then I'm
No
good.
matter what it is, though, it's self-serve, yeah.
So for the, what's the name of the restaurant next door?
One way street.
Can we
Can we
put that in
put
this?
that in?
Okay, good, good.
Put that,
That they're
The
using their
bathroom.
neighbor's
And
bathroom
they're getting a ramp.
for ADA.
And they're getting a ramp.
We're getting a ramp and a doorbell as well for the front.
Cool, love it.
A ramp for the,
We
both
just have
the
to
side,
record it.
the,
For ADA, for
They're getting
the.
Rigger Hill.
for Riverville.
For the step up.
you got it?
And what's the name of the location, the other?
1 White Street.
Did we vote?
Not yet.
Did you call the question?
I got John. vote.
I call the question.
Second.
All those in favor? Any opposals, recusals, abstentions?
Everyone's a yes on both, unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Did you get all the, wait, just make sure, Zach, did you get all the information about, the bathroom, the doorbell and the ramp?
Doorbell, I got the bathroom.
So they're also adding their own doorbell and ramp for their establishment to make it ADA compliant. Yes.
It's all good stuff.
What does the doorbell
But the
mean?
bathroom.
To bring the ramp
is
out.
not.
Temporarily, the bathroom is
So
next
we're
door.
like, needed to bring the doorbell and then we bring it out.
Bathroom is not ADA.
Because there's a step up.
Because they
But the-
use the bathroom next
One
door.
next door, they'll also, it's the same owner.
Two issues, entrance
The ramp
being.
and the. and-
Right,
What-
right, the
what is the
doorbell
name
and the ramp
of
is
the-
for their front door.
Okay, everybody, what is the name of the restaurant next door that's the
One
bathroom?
One white, I get that.
So that's where ADA uses the bathroom.
But to enter their establishment, this one is where you're gonna have the doorbell and the ramp. Is that correct? Yes. So you got that? The doorbell and the ramp. You got it?
You're getting a doorbell and a ramp.
Okay, I'm just trying to
Or
figure
you
out.
have, well, there's.
For,
Good thing this is.
for River Hill Market. And at one White Street is the bathroom, the ADA.
Hey,
bathroom.
Mariama, is that one bathroom an employee bathroom or a public bathroom?
So they have one bathroom at, Rigger Hill, but it's not ADA compliant because it's a landmark building, so they haven't been able to
No,
change.
Tammy asked if it was a public.
So-
or just employee bathroom.
Next.
I'm asking, I'm not asking.
Next door. So I mean, if we needed to, of course.
Next door allows all of their patrons to use their bathroom.
One White Street, one just a little bit nicer, so we just.
So I don't think.
Is that answer? No.
No. So my question is, for
Wait,
the
John, hold on a
bathroom,
second, wait. Wait. At Rigger Hill, is the bathroom a public bathroom or an employee bathroom?
We use it as an employee bathroom. It could be used as a public bathroom if needed, but because we have.
But what does as needed mean? Is it as people say, may I use the bathroom?
We could, yes, they could absolutely use that bathroom.
Is there a sign? To use,
It
to use
doesn't
one
say
white.
employees only.
Does not say employees only.
Is there a sign that says to use one White Street?
No, people ask, we could create one for sure.
I would love that.
correct.
Because I don't ask. I just assume I can't use the bathroom and then I'm sad.
There has to be signage for public.
Or uncomfortable.
Seems like a
Overly,
Please make me a sign. I mean, I'm not the only person that doesn't want to ask for.
He's embarrassed. He wants a sign.
Fort Worth. Yes, thank you.
And John, what you say?
No, I said we voted on this.
Yeah.
He's trying to move it, okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank
you.
3:53.
Hi.
Hello.
I'm representing 353 driveways, so that's Rebecca, Marianne's, Miss Valeria, we are applying for the sidewalk cafe and the roadway cafe. We're still in the process of how it's gonna be the layout for the roadway cafe. It's gonna be very different from last year, so here we create something more like a structure, but this year it's gonna be movable, so it's easy for us to make adjustments if it's necessary. For the roadway, I've been working with DOT very hand in hand, and this is the new plan that we actually have. We may have to make 2 adjustments, which is by the cellar door. And other than that,
I'm sorry, I'm confused. Where's the?
They have to have clearance from their cellar door.
Yeah.
It doesn't work as they have it.
Right. That, and also, are you saying that the tables are up against the curb?
She's saying that we can make adjustments. I think the first one is gonna have to be to take that table out that's next to that cellar.
Okay. So there would be.
Those 4 seats right there.
2 fire escapes.
See these? You don't have the
Pointer?
yeah.
well, maybe. See these two?
yes,
That has to go.
And what about the?
Then the
that
one,
table has to
the
go.
bunch of 6 over there.
There's another cellar
Whoa.
right here. At the
We
other
should
end.
use that all the time.
I've got a question.
No, over
This is
down,
West
right down, right
Cellar
there.
door here.
Cellar door.
Yeah, what's the clearance between here
And
and?
what, do you know how many feet that is in between the cellar and that table?
no, it's supposed to be about 3 feet, but again, those are movable, we can move the chairs. But it's 3 feet from that table.
This table
But-
definitely
but
has to come out.
Let me get a look. It was, the structure is different right now.
This is a sidewalk cafe.
So it's only gonna be 3, these 2, this is gonna be away, then 3 here, this is only 1, and then these 3 are gonna be.
Okay, so you're taking it out already.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we come to the question though of, you're moving 3 tables here. Is there enough room between
Oh,
the
yeah.
door? No, over here. You're moving right there, right
In the
there.
center, right
You're
there.
moving you're putting 3 tables there.
Yes.
Is there enough
Yeah.
clearance between? there
Yeah,
is?
it is. I'm not sure if you have the pictures, we also.
But stay there for a second. So where does your sidewalk cafe, I mean, your roadbed cafe?
Oh, here. Well, this is the front.
Right, so this,
Here, this is the part that you were mentioning.
No, but weren't you just pointing out roadbed?
Yeah.
That was roadbed.
That's
People, you know,
the,
if they serve from the
No, but hold on a second. That was roadbed, so we have to go back to the roadbed picture.
no,
No, we're,
Are we doing sidewalk?
only, yeah,
Only
Wait,
sidewalk.
we're only doing
No, no, we
Still
put sidewalk at the moment, then from
Okay.
way comes
Okay,
in.
that's why I was
It's
confused.
still in process
Okay.
because
Okay.
we're starting to have it this year, but we decided to have it and have it more like a.
Okay.
Can we-
We don't have to create so many.
So you decided to have it. All right, so when you take these tables out, I mean, I could count it, but what do you have for how many seats are you gonna be having in this sidewalk? With the table, with this out and that out?
This is fine, I don't think we have any.
No, I didn't. look.
Here is gonna be 1, 2, 3.
Those three right there are gonna
Right.
be, okay, so that's 12 seats.
This one is gonna move to here,
So there's
Another
4 seats,
3,
16.
and then 3 here.
Okay, but here's my problem. You have three tables of four people. It doesn't look like you can walk between those tables.
But you don't necessarily need to serve from the side,
But it looks like you can't even get in
but
between.
I think we're missing the forest for the trees though. Can we go to the next photo?
The
Slide with the
trees
photo?
is the residential entry, that's a division.
Okay, my question is why is there still a structure up? And that's the thing
This is
that
an old,
no, that's there right now. That is there currently.
Oh, you live there.
Yeah, so when I walk by, I can't understand why there's
so
still.
that's DOT, I don't know why it's there. We don't know why it's there.
No, that's not.
If it's not approved, it has to come down.
Right, that's the overhang.
Yeah.
See where you have.
Whatever this wood is and all that, the DOT tell you to keep that? They approved it? And it's up?
No, but it's been up. Previously,
Yeah.
everything had to come down, so I don't understand.
Do what I
No,
said.
no, the,
That road hasn't come down, not sidewalk.
Sidewalk structure,
yeah, sidewalk, has nothing to do with the road.
That's not true. If they built it during COVID, right, for a structure during COVID, it is not part of the grandfathered outdoor sidewalk.
It's not.
no, she's saying it's not grandfathered.
It's right, she's saying, oh, okay, it's not.
It is, it has the awning. It is.
No, she's saying it is grandfather.
Well,
He's saying it is.
with DOT.
Tammy's saying it's not.
Well, the DOT.
No, I'm saying.
When was it built?
COVID or now? Now.
This is the
This
application.
is recently, this is the last.
No, that's what this application is before us now.
Then that has to be approved by landmark and DOB. That's not, we don't know if that's legal.
DOT sent her here to get our blessings, which means they
But this
looked at
isn't
it.
mentioned in the plan.
So
No, Francis.
Well, that's why they sent in this picture, otherwise they wouldn't make it, take a new picture.
No, I think it's two issues. We're looking at seats and hours for sidewalk seating, and then Jared, what you're bringing up is the structure, and that's going to be regulated by DOP and DOT.
Right,
And I brought it up.
And landmarks, it's Tribeca, it's in the historic landmark district. And DOT very clearly says on their website that you have to go to LPC if you're in a historic district. They're not approving LPC stuff.
right.
So they might have already gotten LPC approval or might not. And we don't have the answer to that
Right.
tonight.
But we
it's-
could say that we directed them
It is
to.
separate from the tables and.
Right, exactly.
Right, but I guess what I'm saying is, similar to, if it's not in compliance, and there's nothing to suggest that it's in compliance with anything, why would we support a sidewalk cafe there?
We don't. But it sounds like we don't know, and that's out of our jurisdiction.
But it's not outside of our
What we could
consideration.
do, no, I think what we could do is say that we took note of it, we observed it, we thought something may not be right. We questioned it, and
their compliance.
we questioned their compliance, we directed them to the landmarks committee, to.
Right, but I guess what I'm getting at is.
No. Doc, can you pull up the application so Mariama can see? We can deny it. We can.
We
It is
can
an
based on
option.
the structure?
Yeah,
Even if
yeah.
we're not sure?
Well, I mean, the applicant has the burden of proof, not us.
Yeah, but how does she prove that the structure, she said that DOT saw it.
Where's the approval?
She's showing us the
So-
pictures saying that.
The pictures of what's been there for 5 years.
But she's saying,
DOT on its website says they are not responsible for approving anything that's in historic districts, landmark districts, or structures. It's very specific that that has to go to landmarks. This is in the Tribeca Historic District.
Oh, so it was since COVID.
Yeah,
Was it?
but,
But it's been up for a while.
No, but it's up
Right.
since COVID.
They had a
COVID
retractable.
structure.
So do we,
Coming
in
for
that light of that information from Tammy, that's which one? Do we want to do a resolution that says we are denying because the establishment is located in the historic district?
Well, you could, sorry,
Deny unless you're saying?
no, you could say, show us the proof before the full board meeting on Tuesday.
Yeah.
And then.
Right, we could continue the process and approve it unless they're unable to pending, proof.
Right, but it would have come, sorry, Tammy.
Do me a favor, tell me the address of this one again.
It's, 353 Greenwich. If you
Okay.
do Street View in
I
Google
got it.
Maps,
I got it.
you can look at 2019.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, we've got to go over hours because they've got 11 and midnight, but that's fine. That's, for committee discussion. But when you look at what the community board says and how we respond, we have different opportunities. We can recommend approval, we can recommend denial, we can recommend approval with modifications. Or we can say, applicant acknowledge, and we can check off applicant acknowledges, but didn't agree with the modifications. Right? I mean, or they did agree. So we could say we approve with modifications, knowing that this addition has not gone to LPC. You understand what I mean? And that should be required.
Could we say we approve pending
Updates
proof
and my verification.
proof of approval or whatever?
Right, but there's no indication that an application has even been filed for that. I mean,
Well,
She's
there's
saying-
we're not gonna.
They have the approvals.
well, she said, and not to put words in your mouth, but you're saying that this was a COVID era structure.
Yes,
Right,
yes,
that's
she
not.
did.
But we're
that's
not seeing
But
anything.
she's also saying that she has approvals. So if that's true, she can produce them at the full board meeting.
I didn't even know, DOT sent this to you.
Right, but they don't know that photo, from when that photo, it's not dated, there's no.
So even if they, regardless of if they know or not, what the chair of the board is saying is that she just looked it up, and because it's a landmark district, DOT has washed its hands of it. So they're not going to approve or disapprove. They're not gonna.
They're not gonna
speak
weigh
on it.
in.
They're not gonna weigh in. It's up to landmarks. So what we're saying is if you can get the approval from landmarks, then we could approve. That's one thing we can consider. We can proceed with this process and go through the hours and all that stuff and approve.
Right, and as long as you have an approval for the structure, we'll look at the hours.
Alternatively, we can approve the sidewalk cafe so long as the structure is removed, if there's no approval.
That's true too.
No, it's all in the same.
That's true too. We could say either provide proof that it's okay, that it's approved, or take it down.
So can I, point of clarification?
Right.
So if we don't approve, the city can approve it, right?
Yes.
And so we're going back and forth. We have another person here.
But what do you mean the city could approve it?
Yes.
We're advisory
We're
and
advisory.
somebody
What
with
do you mean
a
the city, though?
decision-making power
Well-
can decide it's fine.
DOT, that's the city.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah,
DOT.
I just
You
want-
want to be specific, okay.
We know
What
this.
I'm saying is, we have another person
We do
here.
this, they have this all the time.
We keep going back and forth on this, either we talk about it and vote it, or we move on.
Agreed. So that's why I proposed a couple of different ways that we could
Right.
approach it.
So put a motion on the floor.
And those couple of different ways is, again, we could approve it pending evidence that it's approved by landmarks, that it's fine with them, or removal if they're unable to provide such proof, or we can deny it because there's a structure there that has not been approved.
I would go with the.
No,
You said.
Let her finish.
the only reason that they approve it is because the awning has been there
very long.
No, it's been there during COVID.
No, the
No,
awning's
the
been
awning
there.
has
The
been
awning's
tried.
been there.
So
since
if they
That's right.
open the awning, we don't, they said it's okay, because.
When the awning, it covers the structure, and it looks like one big
No,
thing.
wait, what? No.
I know what you're saying, I know what you're saying, you may not be correct, but I know what you're
I,
saying.
I,
It's
you
a freestanding retractable.
All right, let's hear from them.
know, no.
One
Let's hear
conversation,
from
that's.
I would vote for the first suggestion that you have said with approving, with pending all that information. To me, that's the safest and most logical thing to do.
I would,
Okay, wait, let's go around the table. Desiree?
I like agree the first.
I agree.
Wait, going around the
can
table.
we talk about it in real
Well,
time?
around
We're
the
going
table,
around the
I
table.
understand.
We're gonna get to there. Diane, how do you feel about approving,
I don't, but do we need a conversation like like with the others about the bathrooms
well, we'll
and the
get into
safe?
that, if we decide we're
Oh.
gonna proceed, then yes.
It's a threshold issue.
Oh, okay.
Hello, can I make a suggestion?
Yeah.
Yeah, so what do you say?
Can I make a suggestion?
Wait, Tammy.
All right, let me hear her suggestion.
Okay, this particular building is according to New York City, right, is in the Tribeca West Historic District designation. According to New York City map, 353 Greenwich has not had any alterations. This is what it shows online. The DOT website says awnings or overhead coverings attached to the building require review and approval by New York City DOB. Anything on landmark buildings or buildings located within the historic district also require approval from Landmarks Commission. So we can approve it with conditions that they provide documentation that it was approved by DOB and Landmarks Preservation. If not,
That's what's currently on the floor.
right?
I would like to.
Wait, we're
Well, it's going
There is
around.
also, hold on, there's also requirements on the overhead coverings, right? It's a very, very strict how tall they have to be for overhead. So it's, it's fine, but again, it has to have lighting. There's a whole section on the website, but everything has to go through initially the guidelines that it says for LPC and DOB. And that would be something that I would check.
Wait. So to clarify, Tammy, are you saying that it's possible that there was never permission to install the retractable awning ever?
I don't think she's going that far.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that a lot of things happened in COVID that were then just looked at like, well, it's been here, it's 4 years, so let's just move on. But the idea for the dining out program was to be able to clean up all the issues from COVID of what was legal and what wasn't, and make sure that it is a appropriately built, ADA accessible, and everything that the public realm needs to have both the restaurant be successful and the public. So all I'm saying is that we can approve it and we can add all of our comments and conditions that are on here.
Where Reg was.
So that is exactly what was on the table, and we're up to Diane.
We're up to Diane.
Why on this one are we going around in a circle?
We're up
Well,
to.
That's a good question.
Are the
You
tables,
talk, everybody else wants to talk.
John, we gotta dial it down.
Well,
are the tables
You asked a
outside
question, I'm answering somebody
the
else.
structure?
This is an old picture, right?
Oh, okay, or
Well,
are they gonna
it's
be
a current
inside?
picture.
But that's not how it's going to be. That's what I mean.
All right, then,
but how do you feel about approving it pending either proof of approval from the LPC and the Department of Buildings or removal of the structure?
fine.
She's fine.
Okay,
Move
which is fine. Okay, so the awning's been there since before COVID. So I feel like the vertical structures could potentially be removed since they showed up during COVID. And so, yeah, I think one is fine.
I'm fine.
Okay.
Okay.
I would say, thank you for permission. I would say that we should take the position that it is a deny unless there's either proof shown that that is, it has been approved, or there's a commitment made to remove it. I don't understand why we're taking the positive when there's.
Because there is no option, it is either flat deny or it is approved with conditions. That is the way the DOT revocable consent is listed. And Zach can pull up the application so he can show you what exactly you're looking at.
Martin? I don't have a comment. I'll go with whatever they have. Okay, so we're gonna proceed then. Yeah. Then we ask the questions that we would typically ask. All right, so we were up to 28 seats outside. You don't know right now how many seats you would want to have in the road bed when you come back.
No, no, actually, yes. Yeah.
Right.
For the, well, we have two. We're talking about the road.
The road bed.
Yeah. We're gonna have two by Greenwich,
Mm-hmm.
and then we're gonna have three, let's say four, by the Harrison, the first area, and then the second one, we're gonna have two more.
So is that, how many seats is that? Is it?
It's those bar.
Well. Okay, so
It's like about.
12 in the road bed and 28 in the sidewalk.
Yeah.
How many inside?
What is this?
That's the Broadway. That's.
And that too?
Yeah, because
that
it's
too.
all
Yeah, it's 12.
Harrison.
How many, what's your capacity inside?
75.
How many bathrooms do you have?
3,
Are they ADA compliant?
yes.
Are they,
One.
are they,
Basement, and that one is in the first floor.
is any, are any of them a dedicated employee bathroom? Or are all the bathrooms for the use of the customers?
All the bathrooms are for the use of the customers.
Animal bathrooms?
Sunday, Tuesday.
Yeah, what hours are you proposing?
Only change I see she needs to do is.
We're only doing sidewalk.
Yeah, we're only doing sidewalk, I just wanted to make sure that, yeah, they're not ready for the road bed. I just wanted to make sure they had enough,
Sunday, you have to close at 10.
No, open at 10.
Close at 10.
oh, those are the hours?
For the commission.
So the hours that they are proposing are
Just the
10:30
business hours.
to 11 on Sunday, 11:30 to 11 Monday through Friday. So 10:30 on the weekends, 10:30 to, oh no, Saturday's different, 10:30 to 12 on Saturday, 10:30 to 11 on Sunday, 11:30 to 11 during the week, Monday through Wednesday, and 11:30 to 12 Thursday and Friday.
But we normally ask you to close at 10 o'clock on Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the first thing we're gonna do is have them close at 10 on Sunday. How are people with 11:30 a.m. to 11 p.m. Monday through Wednesday?
Other residents above?
There's nobody here. There's residents.
No, but there's
like,
residents in the
Are there
building.
people that live above it is what I'm asking?
Yes.
11:30 is fine.
Do you know how you had any issues with your
What
residents?
was it historically?
What were your hours before? Yeah.
Same.
Same?
Yeah. Been there for, again, we haven't really made a lot of changes except for the roadway.
Okay.
It was
Okay, so
really
there
a
was no
problem. That's
complaint,
that was a problem.
Okay, okay.
No
Never
complaints
really
prior.
Yeah.
They have Thursday through
Friday.
Saturday, a midnight closure,
But they didn't have any complaints.
but they didn't have any complaints.
Okay, so can we move?
So is everybody fine with that?
on?
Okay. Okay, so the only one we're changing is Sunday.
That's 10 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
Can I call the question?
Open hours are pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
I don't think that really.
Okay. You called the question? You second?
Yes.
All right, all in favor?
Pending
Yeah.
the approval
Pending the.
by Tuesday.
Yeah.
Oh,
By
Tuesday.
No, not by Tuesday, before that.
When is that
When do you
full board?
want it?
Well,
When
yeah.
do we need it? Friday,
We'll need the new Fridays at some point. too.
Yeah, Friday. Well, today's Wednesday.
No, we need it Friday.
But,
What was that Friday?
how's that?
We can wait until Tuesday. I mean, if they have it, they have it.
I have to call the office, our meeting's at 6 o'clock on Thursday. So I have to call the office before Tuesday.
Right, but the point is, or to remove it, right?
Yes.
It's one or the other.
Yes.
It's
They
either,
remove the wood construction.
Commit to remove.
Again, the wood.
Either
the
get it,
only-
either get it approved or commit to remove it.
not the retractable awning, the retractable awning.
Yeah, that one has been there
No, no,
forever.
nobody's saying that.
And even with the apply for the
that's the
sidewalk
wood.
before COVID,
That's the
remember
wood.
that it.
Yeah, nobody has a problem with
Okay,
the
good.
awning, it's the structure.
That's
the
fine,
historic
that's
building.
fine. We can work on that. It's wood, just-
Okay.
that's fine.
Okay.
Great.
But you're gonna.
Any, notes,
No.
extensions, recusals? Unanimous.
Good.
Thank you.
Okay,
It's like a nice spot.
wait, I have
I'm
your
looking forward to going there.
stipulation to sign and notarize.
Steve, we're good, make sure.
It says pending
What was
everything we talked about, right?
a new picture? We need an updated drawing.
Yeah, you have to correct that layout for this
Oh, yeah,
sidewalk.
you have to send it.
Then look at, and I'm gonna also send the.
Should have sent margaritas.
So that's what's pending
Eddie, you wanna go?
approval or removal?
French fries at one time. It was very.
Perfect.
All right.
I still get more.
Yeah, finally.
46 Fulton Street?
Yep, okay.
I'm Rich Bagiru. I'm representing the Penn Group. We have two businesses on 50th and 1, then 46, Fulton. So they are at the same location, but they were split because we had to make, two different applications. Is it okay if I could just see which one of the two?
Well, you said you have two before us tonight?
No. At the same location is what I mean. I'm talking about which business we're here in the meeting.
46 Fulton Street, Little Italy Pizza.
There's two.
It's the Little.
Yeah, Little
Yeah,
Italy Pizza.
they have two stores.
Yes.
They got that.
Oh, it's 46 Fulton? It's 46 Fulton. Are you right next to Cliff Street?
Just next to the Bible.
We're gonna
The
buy.
Bible on Fulton
It's
Street.
that pizza place that is open all the time. It's
Yeah. Right below where I used to work. Yeah. Right next to Cliff Street.
Yes.
There's two of them?
So there's two
They have two
tables.
businesses.
It's an application for.
So when you say two, you mean when you walk in, there's the place with the oven and you can order, and then inside there,
There's another,
there's a door,
and
you
there's
go sit
another
behind that
section
door. Is that what you mean?
where people can sit and eat, right?
Is that what you mean by two? I'm
By
I'm
two?
confused.
When I said two businesses?
Yes,
The two businesses are actually separated by a physical wall.
right, that's what we're saying. We're saying the same thing. There's part of you that has the ovens and the drinks and all that.
Yes.
Then there's a door, and you go to the other side, and there's a wall, and there's an area where people sit and eat.
Correct.
Right.
Yes.
I just wanted to make sure I was understanding what he meant by two businesses, because I wouldn't consider that two businesses, because there's nobody working
Well-
next door, you just go sit down there.
Make sure we're talking about the
Yeah.
right business.
So I wanted to make sure I understood too, yeah, okay.
Yes, so we made an application for a sidewalk for two tables outside of the, in front, on our frontage. Two tables and 4 chairs.
Yeah, I just. have
Two
to-
tables and
Where
4
did you get these hours from?
Our opening
Yeah, where'd you get that 4:30 AM?
from, site.
Oh, okay, so they're your super hours.
No,
Yeah,
what, how was, did you get an approval for that? How did,
From the DOT.
you just been, that's how you've been operating? You
I
just
just
been?
entered our operating hours.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Oh, and that's, okay.
So I leave it open until 4:30?
No, but the,
24 hours, they used to be before.
I know.
24 hours.
But you can't sit outside.
but DOT doesn't allow for outside dining.
Yeah.
Hours.
So we're gonna go. back.
No, that was a question that
Alright.
I knew about before, so we could start from the beginning.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so we're coming to allow. You start.
Yeah, that's the only, well, that's one of the issues. I have an issue with the, even having those 4 seats, because that is a very narrow part of Fulton Street. And you have, like, between your business and the, Playa Mall. Yeah. The, Playa, the juice place.
Yes.
You have a ton of bikes out there, and you, to try to maneuver between theirs and the bikes and the people is like this. Yeah. To have another.
It's a well-traveled.
Oh, absolutely, because it goes straight,
Right,
straight
it's a
down to the,
street
to the
there.
sea.
I agree.
It's a
There's
major,
garbage there.
right across the street from the supermarket. It's a major street
Where they take
during the
stuff.
day where all the trucks go and the Amazon trucks leave all, unload their stuff. And Cliff Street, right there, we got the problems with the construction down the street.
Were tables out there before?
Yeah,
I
they've
think
been
I
out
remember a
there.
couple
Yeah,
They've
there's
been out
tables
there
in the
forever.
pictures
That's
on
why I
there.
asked them.
So I
how
tried
did-
to deny it.
Who did he get? We didn't approve
During
anything.
COVID, everybody had.
And this great fair.
Set up shop.
I mean, we applied.
Yes.
You were
Yeah,
approved?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, but that's, it's the
Everybody
same
was
thing.
approved of COVID, because it was just like, let's help these businesses. So now.
Lots of cross chatter, people.
I'm not
We
gonna
have
go
had
there.
our architect also measure to make sure that, we fall into the requirements of measuring, and this is why we only came down to 2 tables instead of,
Yeah, well, you can't fit anything else.
just.
And it looks real empty.
Red.
So, I have brought additional photos in the document at the back, just to make sure.
So you see the bikes that she's talking about?
Yeah.
And they're more
They're right
in
there
front
in
of
front.
their establishment rather than.
Are they your bikes?
Okay.
I have to look through, but yeah.
Are they delivery bikes or something? Yeah.
We do have bikes that do come in and out because we obviously use Uber and different, it's at the.
Yeah, I know, but there's.
No.
One second. So, can you go back to the picture? I'm sorry, Zach. All right, here we have the bikes. At the curb, there's often garbage also. I guess that's where they
Right.
set their garbage out.
Garbage.
So I agree with Francis that there's only like a little narrow.
It's very
piece
congested.
to walk through.
Even when I work there,
Extremely
garbage is out
congested.
there all the time.
No matter what time of day it is, it's always congested.
I agree.
I try not to walk on that side of the street, but sometimes you can't.
And to be fair, again, they have the establishment when you go in. There's some stools in that first room.
Right.
Where you order, you can sit at a stool, or
There's a whole nother
dining room
space on the other side
next door. So
where people can sit,
It's not-
people sit and eat.
What's the blue?
That's another
that's
restaurant.
Another restaurant.
They have seats out there?
Yeah.
But
They
they-
came to us
So
before.
if they have.
And they have a thing for bikes, but they don't have
So
any.
wait, all I wanna say is, if they have seats out there, how can you?
We were given approval last month for the side.
They don't have bikes.
Okay, but then you have to ask him to move the bike, but you can't deny him the seats.
So people come with big bike rack.
So, yeah, but I'm saying, you can't deny.
Delivery bikes.
But is there 8 feet between the bike rack and the
No,
barriers?
no,
Okay, so legally, you can't do that then.
no.
So
In front of the playa, there's space there. But
You
in
came
front
to
of
the
it-
board before?
Uh,
For Playa?
Yes.
And did you move back the structure that's in this photograph to make sure you had 8 feet between the
Sidewalk and the edge of the seating.
between the bike rack and your
We,
fencing there?
we didn't make adjustment then because we weren't told it was an.
Is there 8 feet there?
I mean, yes.
No,
No.
No.
I mean, no.
No.
there's 5 feet there.
Take a look at the diagram that he provided.
Between here, wait, go back to the picture. Between here and here, is there 8 feet?
No, it's 5 feet.
Yeah, no, doesn't look like 8. No.
Is it 12?
What does it say?
It's 8 feet to the curb,
Really?
at least.
This says 12.
Yeah,
Well,
8 feet.
it says 12.
This is
Feet.
12.
No, you can go back, if you go back, the last photo they just had up, you can see.
That says 12.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We had we sent an architect to take all the measurements. These weren't drawn by staff members.
no, go back to the, nope, different photo up a little bit, please. Nope, a little bit more. Yeah, right there. So each of those grids, those are 5 feet. So it's 5, it's under 10 feet for sure, just from the curb, or it's about 10 feet from the curb.
Why does it say?
You see what I'm saying about,
Well, their architect said 12.
John, you don't need to come back at everything I'm saying.
But no, that's what it says on the sheet.
I understand that, but I heard him say it as well, and I saw it on there, it's not 12 feet. It's maybe 12 feet to the storefront,
To the door.
but there's no way to that piece of barrier that is 12 feet.
Same.
And what do the rules say about those bike things? Anything?
Yeah, that's why they have
Who
the
installed those bike things?
city.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they have the gap. See,
Loaded. They're always loaded.
Are those your bikes?
Are they, yeah, delivery bikes?
I mean, the business does own them because we have about, let's say, 14-liter Italy's, so they kind of cycle. So
The
if,
answer is yes.
sorry.
Mhm.
Yes, they belong
I,
to.
I
the
cannot,
business.
I mean, I cannot attest there, right, you know, but I can definitely ask. And we can obviously, you know, if.
And you
if
know the
there's an
establishment
issue
to own
that,
bikes. So they're like, it's likely theirs, because you know that they own bikes for delivery.
It is
So-
there.
Okay.
She's, well, she's from the community.
I live there, so I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why
Yeah, we are there.
Yeah, we know.
It's just because, you know, I work at the office and we have so many stores.
So you want short, okay?
Yes, no, just.
Okay,
represent.
can we move on? Can we move on? I'm sorry. The main issue is that you don't have enough space between the bike racks and the outdoor seating. That's the main issue. So legally, you have to have 8 feet.
And assuming that's correct, it says that there's 16 feet from the curb to the building, right? Because there's
Yes,
4 feet.
which is what, because we were asked to measure a second time. Which is why the amended drawing also has those lines and says with the clear width, is equal, that's why the architect also.
You mean the
added this.
diagonal line?
So,
16 feet to the curb.
16.
Wait, are you gonna have those
Right,
bands?
it says clear width 12 feet, and then it says 4 feet from
those
the.
barriers.
Oh.
There.
They don't necessarily go.
Vertical barriers between the tables and the.
No.
Clear
The barriers
width,
are
12
just
feet,
where the
right.
tables
And on the
are.
right
So
side.
that's how we're concerned.
There's nothing else.
Okay.
Measurement.
Right.
Okay, so bike,
When the numbers are that tall.
No,
16.
not this picture, I mean,
No,
the
no.
photograph.
Yes.
It won't look like that. We have to decide what we're doing, guys.
No, it will look like a photograph with the barriers, but I guess it's just making lines.
Yeah, but
So if the barriers kind of come together a little bit in the middle there.
And Sarah, who lives here.
The leaves are only up 3 and it's getting.
Yeah, the game.
Yeah.
The DOT sent us this approved, right, with their letterhead. Can we say it's not the right size? The DOT is saying it is agreeing.
They approved it.
So long as it actually looks like this and not.
Yes.
On the graph,
Note your concerns, put it in
but
writing.
the eyes say it's not 8 feet. So,
But this is a DOT letterhead
right.
that says this is fine.
So but I'm saying that we should believe.
What was Tammy trying to say?
Sorry.
I said you can approve with modifications, and you can note on there that you believe that the measurements may be off based on real life experience. You can certainly comment about the concerns that you have with the way the bicycles face, interfering with the clear path. All of those are comments.
Okay, so we're gonna add something with comments.
Let me just share the pliable.
Can I ask a question?
The member here suggested something saying that sorry.
So what I think with the previous image, it showed the clear path to the edge of a barrier that was in the middle of the
My
tables.
question is, I passed that
And
today.
that's different from what we were seeing in the photograph.
Yeah.
And so if they actually do it like that, there might be enough.
Then there might be enough space. I saw
Yeah.
that too, yeah.
And if we want to, obviously, you know, decongest the street, if we need to either remove parts of the barriers, you know, because those are also
Trying to.
bulky, that's also.
But you're
not
required to have a barrier. You could have a different barrier.
Okay.
Okay, I feel like it's getting late.
So my understanding is they're trying to extend the previous, license, is that why?
Yes.
Because the foods have been there forever, I passed it today, they were.
Yes, we were approved during
That's
COVID.
what everybody has to do now. Like if you had it during COVID, you wanna have it again, you have to reapply. So that's what they're doing.
And you have to reapply with the restrictions that they're now.
Right.
New restrictions.
So this I put up is the neighbor pliables, and it's showing the same distances, just for
Which is also the
comparison.
That's my understanding, like I said, I pass there all the time, and it's about the same,
I disagree.
I'll look again.
So how do you want, so do you want proof?
Well, you
of the-
disagree, I think, because with the bikes there,
Right.
that's taking up a
Taking up.
couple feet, right? You got bike on top of bike on top of bike.
And what happens with the pizza, more so than the playa, is that big groups come and they move it and they put they move it around. And it becomes more congested. So anyway.
There's another pending, another one of the pending.
Or they don't move the table.
So, yeah.
I should say that, because I live there. Honestly, and I'll give you the flip side, the outdoor seatings there help us, because then you don't get the homeless that now have occupied Peaches, and then also Taco Bell. So we don't mind, that's not the issue, the issue are the bikes, that's what makes it, and your garbage. The garbage and the bikes, that's the main issue. If you don't have the bikes, Playa doesn't have the issue that the pizza has because of the bikes.
Yeah, we agree. We live over there.
So is the garbage, is the garbage out at times when it is not supposed to be out? Is it's not supposed to come out?
I on my end take care of paying all of the fines for the DOH. Those two stores I do not get tickets for them, so I have not.
You have to presume that the garbage is out at the appropriate time.
Not from the DOH though.
Sanitation.
Yes, we have so many stores, I get them all of the time and we fix them as we go, you know. Some are even caught through cameras, some because of neglect, because of employees putting them 30 minutes earlier than they should be. But I've not had issues with those two stores.
So it's just the bikes,
regarding the time.
Just the bikes.
Well, what can you do about the bikes?
I will.
Or about them keeping the tables where they said they're gonna put them in the picture. Because if that's the case, then they wouldn't be in line with the bike.
He was just gonna say something about the bikes. Should I use that? I will, and then.
Yes, I am happy to speak to our managers to try and find a solution. If there's a way that they can be parked, you know, when there's parking available, or it's a question of orienting the bikes or limiting the amount of bikes, then we're happy to be compliant.
Point of clarification, the city put those bike things there.
Are those city bikes?
So if they don't have their bike, somebody else is gonna put a bike there.
Well, there's.
Well,
So
they put their bikes there. That's where
Well,
they,
wait,
because
it's
the
a
city
matter
put
of
the
the
thing.
city put.
Yeah.
So if they don't put their bikes, other people can put their bikes. So if they get there first, okay.
But not as regularly, I
Well,
think.
Yeah, if you see,
There's
if you
another
see
bike
delivery bikes
they put
in
there,
front of a
in
place,
front of the building.
they're always
If you
like.
look at it on the map.
And somebody
Transient people who
put
park their
their
bikes,
Well,
there,
there's two.
leave it there for.
There
little
is
bit.
a city bike
If you
rack
leave
there,
your
and
bike
then there's another
at
bike.
long term on one of
So
those
they put it on a
Um,
bike rack?
places,
There's two bike racks.
bike racks, the bike will not be there.
See over
After, maybe
up
an hour or two.
against
Don't
the
leave your bike.
building.
The
That's not a city bike rack.
That is right.
No, this isn't. This one over here, that one is.
So we're gonna do.
So you want
We're complaining about
You want proof of
this one.
distance? Proof of distance? What do you guys want?
No, how do people feel about are they, people okay with the distance?
And Sarah
You know,
says she
it
likes
is what it is.
the tables.
Well,
Yeah, so I
I
think we'll
just
do
have
a
one question.
Yes.
It was just brought to my attention that you guys put that bike rack there.
The one against the wall.
That's what I asked, if they put them
There's-
there.
There's two bike racks.
One
So
the
there's
city put
this
and
one.
one you put.
And this is the one that takes up a lot of the sidewalk
So
This
which
one?
Is it the one the city put there or the one they put there?
Yeah, so see.
So they need to
dining
move their-
available next door. These hold pizzas, and then the seating is right to the right of it, and then there's the whole other city bike rack, that's the circle with
so,
the
but
line through.
these ones are the,
That's
one
the one.
contesting the.
No. This one is
No, I'm
contesting.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, the city bike rack does get in the way because of the barrier. So if a lot of people put lots of bikes right there, it's a huge problem. But right here, this is also a problem. Because people are standing around eating pizza when they're drunk at night. And the bikes are there.
So then you need to get rid of your.
Because I used to live down the street from here too.
So,
And,
do we need a permit to put a
and it's
bike
pretty
rack?
good pizza, gotta say.
And the resident that's in the room
So we're asking that you
supports,
remove the
supports
bike-
them having
Remove.
outdoor seating.
Oh,
So-
remove. Remove.
He's agreeing, he's agreeing.
We're talking about the, we have the ones that are on the website.
So, yeah, we are going to do a positive resolution. We can vote against it if we don't think it's a good idea. We're going to ask them to remove their,
Bike rack.
the bike rack that they installed themselves,
He's just agreed to that.
the non-city bike rack.
I mean, the one against the wall then.
Yeah.
With the
that's
two
not-
big, but.
And to make sure that the tables are where they are, they locate them where they are in the diagram as opposed to where they are in the picture.
No adjusting of sizes or moving anything.
Well, that was the old.
Yes, we're putting a table
This
there,
is the
right?
new regulation.
No, there's, oh, are you putting a table there?
Yeah.
Oh, is the table gonna be with the bikes on?
Yes. Actually,
Oh, so you're removing the bike rack
You're moving the
anyway?
bikes anyway, okay.
Okay. So
We've
wait,
debated this.
are you,
Which is why I was saying,
I'm sorry.
talking about bike racks, like that, but this is another photo.
are you putting the bike rack somewhere else?
No, you have to remove that bike rack.
Yeah.
Well, he's gonna put a table there.
There's already the
No,
city's
but I mean,
bike
don't
rack,
put it
that's
back
it.
anyplace else.
Yeah, don't-
I
we
think,
need to put,
one should use a city's bike rack.
just use the
Sorry,
city's bike rack.
Okay.
Cool.
So-
All right, thanks for
Sorry,
listening.
David.
Okay, so with that, with the city's bike rack only and
Just bike
the
rack.
tables where they're located in the drawing, the architectural drawing, as opposed to the pictures. Oh, the hours, did we do the hours?
No, we
We
did
didn't do
not.
that to the hours.
You guys thought it was.
Well,
Hours definitely not happening.
There you go.
No way. Yeah, no way.
Is
So
it,
instead of one table.
operational.
Okay, can we call the question?
No.
more gum?
So let's put
Give the
some
page of
time.
hours.
They want 4:30 a.m.
The tables go inside at night?
No.
Maybe it's 4:30.
Maybe
No,
we
because
should
they,
just give the
they've
maximum.
been out, they stay out
Yeah,
there
but-
24 hours.
Yeah, but now
Howard
it's a
can
new
find it.
rule, it's a new day.
The city doesn't even allow 4:30, it's 12
Okay.
o'clock.
Just give them the
After
maximum
COVID,
they're
there's
allowed.
the new rules, those 4:30 is.
And the
off the
table has to go inside.
Yes.
Yeah, they never,
Yes. We're happy.
they're permanent fixtures
The
out there.
maximum hours are, it says to 12 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
So are we going for 12 a.m. or are we going for 11?
Don't people live above you? Well, no,
They must, they must not care, because
No, it
they're
wasn't
not open all day.
What do you think when she?
Not really. No, yeah, because that whole block is weird.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wait, but just look
I
at
think
the
down the block, that's the one directly above, right?
Tammy's trying to say something.
So what's on the table is.
But Tammy's trying to say something.
So
Tammy?
this particular area, from about where they are further north, has been a targeted area for NYPD. I don't mind if the neighbors don't care. We should be supportive of them with a little bit longer hours because it kept the homeless and some of the undesirable behaviors off the street, which this would help against. I think Sarah knows what we're talking about from the First Christian Community Council.
We're saying 12. 12 is the max.
Yeah.
No.
The max.
I don't understand why they can't be open to like 1:30.
I think it's.
This is
New York City law passed.
I think, I think they should get the maximum,
All
whatever.
right, so whatever the max, yeah.
So they're gonna be opening at 10 a.m., or starting at 10
Public
a.m.
service.
until 12. Okay?
Yes.
I'm sorry, why is the city? why is
Every
it open
day,
12?
including
Outdoor
Sunday.
dining rules, 12.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Are we giving them, are we giving them that time on Sunday?
Sunday is a.
Yeah, because nobody lives there.
It'd be 10, right?
Nobody.
Yes.
Sunday
would be
St. Margaret's is right across the street.
But I think what the point that Tammy made was that if there's an underlying benefit for.
And
Sarah made the same comment.
We have it.
And they're open inside
Anyway.
all night. There's people standing there all night. There's noise all night, and apparently nobody cares.
My own personal vote is leave that to.
So I think we'll leave it for 12.
And I think we do need to ask them though to bring the tables in at midnight.
Yeah, I had said
I-
that. Yeah.
You got a lot of business coming off the seaport, when you
Right.
have events at the seaport, people stop for
Right.
pizza and so forth.
Yeah.
That can be late night.
I'd like to stop with some right now.
Second.
So what we're talking about is during the week, 12 a.m., Saturday and Sunday.
We're talking
Every
Sunday.
day, 12 a.m.
Yeah.
7
All
days
right.
a week.
Okay, good.
I'm for it.
All right, can I call the
Question's
question?
been called,
Second.
seconded, all
Okay, all
those in favor?
So in there though, you have
I'm
to put that
abstaining.
they're bringing in the
You're
tables.
abstaining?
I'm saying, me too.
Are you really?
They're
Sure.
bringing in the tables. So you get
I
that.
do that
They're
sometimes.
removing their own bike rack, although you bring a table there, and you're not putting that bike rack back.
And not to
anyplace
replace the bike
And
rack.
that's just for the legal entity, because this is what we're talking about. right?
I'm sorry?
This wouldn't cover the pliables.
No, just a
No.
list.
I mean, it would make us upset if you moved the bike rack to pliable.
So where they could.
Right, there's no.
Jared, it should be a rule.
Jared extends.
I will make sure that the guideline is to clear that street as much as possible.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
And the next row, yeah.
wait, there's one thing,
No, it was what?
Miriam, oh, you're done, right? Good, you're
Oh,
done?
we have one more?
What?
No.
No,
Oh, we moved the 86 Warren.
Right.
Okay.
You wanted to talk about the, 9/11 funding.
Oh, I could do it very quickly. So next, what, I thought we were gonna have it on the agenda
Thank
this
you.
month.
I'm sorry, wait, hold on a second. Zach, are you done with him?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, wait, no, they sell beer, don't they sell beer?
You guys sell beer?
No, we do not at this
You know?
location. No alcohol.
Okay.
Thank you.
So it's not on the, it was a miscommunication, it's not on the agenda this month. But for next month, probably going to bring a bill, that's both in the, it's a House bill that's promoted by, or sponsored by Republican Congressman Garbarino.
No.
And there is a Senate bill that's sponsored by Senator Kirsten Gillibrand, both for the purposes of filling the funding gap for the World Trade Center Health Program that had been agreed to, bipartisan agreement for the December 2024 year-end budget. And then they received that call from Elon, and then they canceled the whole thing, and everybody's healthcare fell out. So they are looking for a place to put this bill in. They thought they were gonna get to add it to the continuing resolution. That didn't work either. It's not going into the beautiful, big, beautiful thing or whatever that's called. Not going in there either. So looking for a place to put it, but they have it as two standalones in the meantime. I think it's, well, I won't give you, I won't bore you with the
They
numbers.
already
That's the
voted
next
to
month.
fund it. Why do we even need to do this? And how do
They
we know that they
agreed-
will actually fund it if it goes?
Well, so to clarify, the government voted to fund it in 2010 and, through 2090. And then they sort of reauthorized that, reaffirmed that in 2016. But at that time, they had not anticipated the number of people who would end up in the program, so the amount that they had, amount of money that they had allotted, even in their heads or whatever, is not enough. Because right now, we're at approximately 140,000 people in the program. So because of that, they agreed, again, but it was a bipartisan agreement, including the speaker.
That's
right?
140,000 people are sick.
Yeah,
That doesn't mean that people who signed up and haven't gotten sick yet.
right.
Right.
You know, everybody was on the same page, and it was literally about to pass as part of the year-end budget in 2024, and was pulled. And so ever since, they've been trying to get it in somewhere and have been unsuccessful. So now the Republican congressman has sponsored a bill
out of the House, and the Democratic senator has sponsored a bill out of the Senate, and they're looking to get the two of those passed. So we'll do a resolution on that and maybe discuss just the overall or general status of the program. There's been a pause on communication since Trump took office as well, where we're not allowed to talk to this, even groups like one that I belong to, or bodies that I belong to, like the Survivor Steering Committee, which is required under the law that put the health program in place. Even we are not allowed to talk to the CDC in an official capacity with the pause. Right, so we'll talk about the status of the program and all that kind of stuff next month.
That, everybody keeps telling me we have the resolution on this spring. I'd like you to check that, and I'd like you to send it to me because I might information it is. And so I would like, if we just not get the resolution, I would like us to stand up with that resolution.
As we talked
to up the priority money. What's on the state of the assembly is to move it to 67,000. It is now 50,000. People in IPN are paying $2,000. If you do the math, 50,000 doesn't reach them. And they need to go a little further. So the bill is there. I've been fighting it from the last year, this year, and there's no resolution. So we need to do a resolution.
Definitely something to increase it. I don't know if we did that.
I don't think so, no.
Justine talked about it at some point.
I think I did too.
I think
It was discussed, but no resolution. It was just, because they.
Tammy, can you answer?
so. I think what we should do is, first of all, I need to know who is the focus from the Quality of Life Committee on the Affordable Housing crew, because somebody asked me and I couldn't even answer that question yesterday. With
Who is what?
clarity, who is on the Affordable Housing, working group from Quality of Life? And if you guys can give, okay, Mariama, can you make sure Zach has all the names? Because we're going to combine, we're going to have the Affordable Housing Group, part or all, work with our land use and zoning working group to make it one group that's working on two ends of affordable housing. Okay?
Okay.
But in order to do that and to make some positive movement, I do need everybody's contact, who's where. And if you can give it to Zach tonight, that would be really helpful. And John, in answer to your question, we can do a resolution. We can also do a letter from the board because we have already passed a resolution once on screen injury. We can do a letter to the board officially asking our elected state officials for an update, or just, specifically ask Brian to address it at full board. No problem.
So you're gonna send me this so-called resolution. We did a resolution that IPN and Gateway come under street. There's a new bill that raises the limit from 50,000 to 67,000. So if you can show me that resolution, because people keep telling me you have a resolution.
No, Diane figured it out, that it was a different resolution.
Right.
No,
Yeah.
What he said about, that was, okay, he'll check.
So we'll do this new resolution next month.
Okay. But I also want to see this.
Well, she said we could do a resolution or a letter. So we passed screen 3.
Everybody keeps telling me.
Just give you, John, we didn't increase it. Yeah.
New legislation.
And he wants to see the one that we passed.
And
It was.
we'll add that for next month.
Come under street.
There was one before you were here.
I was fighting for that one too. I've been fighting for street since, Squadron.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not arguing about that. I was just saying that there was another
There's a new
resolution.
one that. is
Yeah,
just
so we're gonna
being
do it
up
next
to
month.
Raise it.
Yeah, we got it.
wasn't-
We gotta do it next month.
It was this year. It wasn't 2 years.
We got it, John. John, we got it.
Thank you,
Raise it.
guys. Good night.
Going to raise it, that's the thing.
Good night.
We're saying we passed
I'm
everything.
assuming that the meeting is adjourning, so good night.
Good night, Tammy.
To this committee.
You're adjourning the